Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Welcome to Minnesota. Podcast, we talk about us arriving here, our trip, what we're going to be doing in the next week or so, and we asked,
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
let's go. How about them Cowboys?
Crack 'em if you got 'em. Yeah! Let's go, baby. Please hit him. Somebody punch him, please.
Hey, you want one of these? Coors?
You got a yellow belly, you knew exactly what
I know, you were looking me up and down. I knew what you wanted. You want a banquet?
Yes.
Crack 'em if you got 'em!
Jerry, pick us up, Jerry. We're not worthy.
Oh, Cowboys can fan.
Cowboys can fan.
Like Canadian fan, can fan.
Oh.
Cowboys can't fan.
Love Canada.
Yeah.
I'll look you up.
Awesome, thanks brother. Take care, man. And look, that's how you get subscribers. And nowadays, it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a dog-eat-dog world. We got to go on the street to get subscribers now.
I'll be like, there'll be a guy at the grocery store and I'll hear him say something about Facebook. I'm like, oh, you do Facebook? You ever heard of CanFan? At Cowboys CanFan. Have you ever checked us out at Cowboys CanFan on any major platform? Because we're on all of them.
Dude, go to tiktok.com/@CowboysCanFan.
We have a channel, yeah.
What's your channel?
Cowboys Can Fan.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm
Cowboys
from Puerto Rico.
Can Fan. We're from Canada, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's Can Fan on his shirt there.
I'm gonna watch that when I go on.
Yeah, do it. You guys will be on our YouTube.
Can I come all the way from Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico? Hell yeah.
See, that's
Son of a bitch.
Let's go. We're gonna be cracking them if we got them, baby. Let's go. Not often are you gonna have the Vegas Strip shut down like this, so we're gonna take advantage of it. And we're gonna shotgun one for you, son. Crack them if you got them, son. Woo!
Walking crack?
Crack them if you got them, son.
You got Raleigh, come on.
I've never met a real Eagles fan in real life. I'm from Canada. This is my first time out of my country. Well, hey, I don't say this often, but go f yourself.
Only an Eagles fan would have to promote a Giants or a different club's signage to try to get friends.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Hey, he hasn't heard though. Do you know who's winning the Super Bowl next year? The Cowboys.
The f***ing Cowboys.
Got him!
9 a.m. out in Thailand, and Zion Johnson just got picked by the Chargers, which kind of sucks because I was really hoping that the Cowboys would.
TJ Watt, taking Taco Charlton over TJ Watt is probably one of the worst. What are you doing over there?
I'm stretching my neck, bro.
I love it because it is literally.
I actually thought you were falling asleep, man.
Hey, Paul, it is 2:30 here. It's 2:30 p.m.
Yeah.
2:30 p.m. No,
We've been drinking since 9 o'clock this morning. It is currently 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a long haul. And
I kind of low-key hate the 10 a.m. games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
For sure, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're getting turned up on a Turpentine 10 a.m. game, guess what? You're getting drunk. Yeah. Hot dogs.
Cute guys, real cute.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Yeah! Cowboys! Cowboys! I'll scream enough for all of us, don't worry.
Crack 'em if you got it.
Oh! First thing I gotta do when I get in is eat something.
We got him, baby. Woo! Just sprayed the fuck out of him with that. Oh, there was nothing left.
Oh, he got him. This is a private moment for us, but hey, we did it.
Worth it.
We made it.
Yeah, blast so far.
Every day.
Hey, talk to me at the end of the game. If we get our fucking asses spanked like last week, I will cry in public. No, I have faith. We're not fucking losing
At
today.
least we had one side of the ball playing.
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Can I talk on it?
Hey, I've seen this face before. Last night outside Target.
Crack 'em if you got 'em. In fairness, we had eaten 3 briskets and 1 fucking rib. If there's one thing that our military families have taught us, it's no man is left behind. How about them Cowboys?
Go, baby. Let's fucking go. Who do we got? Tyler Smith. I was just trying to help you out and not. Oh, okay. Good.
Fuck you, dickhead.
It's never nice. It's never nice. Let him pass it to Nat.
It's voluntary. You need to acknowledge that. That shit is so gross.
It's so bad it stains the bottom of
Let's go, bro.
Oh man, that is fucking nasty.
Oh.
Wow.
Age, you're gonna make me puke. Just watching him do that almost made me puke.
Well, I was close to 18. On the wrong thing, though.
Hey, you guys want to give me some
Off the grid. So
It's like
just
a.
do you-
It's like
do
a.
you.
I say our podcast is like a good Quentin Tarantino movie. You don't know where we're going, but by the end of the cast, you're like very satisfied with what just happened.
First time I've ever heard him say that, but I
said
agree.
it. I said it. Well, I at least said it once.
First
before.
time I've ever listened to you.
See, this is what I love about you guys. You just go with the flow. This is what I love about it.
What I want to
That's
ask
because we
you.
drink the whole time and we just get so
Yeah.
off.
But guess what? We will tie in the end. We tie up the loose ends that need to be tied. The ones that don't, no one remembers anyways.
Okay, just give
Well,
a clean,
I have a question.
Give a clean crack him if you got him, Ants. Go for it.
Crack him if you got him, son. Let's go, baby. Shotgun! That'd be a good band name. Hot Audio. Are we hot? Are we hot? We're Hot Audio! Yeah, boy! We back.
Ooh!
And we're all back in the studio, baby. We got Wade
Feeling
J.
good. It's feeling real good to be back.
Wade J back from wherever the hell he was. No one even knows. No one
I
even
don't
knows.
even know, and I can't tell you because the government will take me to. No, just kidding.
The government, the tax man will come after you.
Someone's
right?
gonna call us SWAT. They're gonna SWAT us, and we're gonna get swatted on live air. Guys, before anything, let's get one of these in us. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
Crack him if you got him.
Fellas,
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
I'm gonna bring him in right off the hop. Usually we like to bullshit a little bit, but we got a special guest tonight. We got Bryson Carver from the Carving It Up podcast, a grid
Hello.
member, one of our brothers in arms. How's it going, Bryson?
I'm doing well, fellas. Great to be on with y'all tonight. Big game for the Cowboys coming up. So it's very, very exciting to be here.
Absolutely.
Eagles week, man. Eagles week.
And we
Eagles week.
know you are not necessarily in the camp of Cowboys Nation, but you're Cowboys Nation adjacent, being a longtime fan since his college days, maybe before. I mean, of the one, the only Dak Prescott, aka Mr. Number One of the MVP odd conversation. I think maybe
That's a long nickname.
Yeah, well, it is, and we got to add to it.
He's deserving of all of them, man. He's deserving of all of them. He's playing fantastic.
Well, Bryson, we appreciate having you on Eagles Week because for Cowboys Nation, and yes, we did have the Eagles earlier in the year at the link, but prior to the season starting, when the schedule was dropped, on one of our shows, we went through and we decided what we thought would be the biggest game of the season. And way back in May, we picked this game. We penciled Sunday Night Football, December 10th. The second game of the Eagles was going to be the biggest game. And fast forward to December, and it is the fucking biggest game of the season.
It is. There's no question about it. And this is huge, obviously, for Dallas to try and tie them up the standings. Eagles would have the tiebreaker, but listen, if Philadelphia loses 2 straight games, then they got to go to Seattle on a Monday Night Football. All of a sudden the ties could turn Dallas's way. So this is a huge game for both teams. Both quarterbacks have been playing really well this year. Obviously, you guys mentioned Dak. I am lockstep with you guys. I'm sure we'll get into his MVP case. But no, there's been a lot of big games. It seemed like all the big games have involved the Eagles against the Chiefs, against the Niners, but this one is this one's massive, and Dallas is a golden opportunity to certainly keep themselves in the division race and definitely potentially in the 1 seed race.
Well, I do like that you brought up that they have to play Seattle, and prior to us playing Seattle, which we're going to jump into, and I just want to say this before AJ rallies off what we're going to go through in the episode. I like that you brought up Seattle, because if Seattle played how they played the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, if they play that way in Seattle on Monday Night Football against an Eagles team coming off 2 losses, hopefully, there's no saying that they can't take the Eagles to the kitchen, to the shed, to the woodshed, to the
wood chipper,
the garbage bin. All right, what do we got on the dock? Actually, bandwagon boys, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling really fresh and comfy in this Dallas. Look at that.
You swagged out.
Good.
Now,
good.
Fun story.
You look like Drake.
Fun story. When Alex was in the shop, we were pretty inebriated, and he didn't want to spend a lot of money this time. Like, but he's like, I got this, I got that, and then
because the last time he spent like he got a jacket that was for like 400
every year. I do every year.
He spent like $400 on a jacket.
Yeah, but
which is dope now.
But especially now that it's signed by 4 NFL
Drew Pearson signed it,
Dallas Cowboys.
But then when he was looking at this, I'm like, dude, this is fresh. He's like, that is fresh. He's like, fuck it, I'm buying it. I was like, yeah. And I'm looking fresh today too. Bot G Eric hooked us up with that Posty streetwear. Posty and Cowboys can fan. Hello.
That'd be dope.
Posty and Dallas Cowboys streetwear collection. So that's our boy Boots on the Ground Eric doing boots on the ground things.
That's how he just goes.
Can I? So this might be a little bit of a longer intro, but bear with me. I'll go quickly.
Fuck it, it's our show. We'll do what we want.
I was down in Mexico and got a few things, some things for the boys. Let me just pull out, and then I have an extra special gift for you two in studio. Sorry, Bryson, bear with us here.
No worries,
It's just not your wiener, is it?
Oh, nice.
First of all, I got
this. Shit.
I got Micah here. This is Micah the linebacker. As you can see, a nice little plush. Spent 200 pesos on this.
What's that conversion? Give me some conversion.
It's like $14.
Okay.
But
for the linebacker,
girl
that's
kept
a pretty
coming
good
up
odd.
to me. I gave her so much cash. She finally said, "Here, just take this and I'll leave you alone for the rest of the night."
The linebacker straight from Mexico.
We'll find a place for that. I also got these candies, 1 each for your boys. They're just mixed candies.
Jesus.
I was like, what am I gonna get them?
It's not from the cartel, is it?
Probably.
My kids are never gonna see this.
Yeah. And then I got these, and these are little spicy popsicles that we can have, or the guys can have. I don't even know if they're good.
We should have
Mexican candy. So
we should have to do a challenge during the game on.
Like, how spicy are they?
Well, we're gonna find out.
I don't know. Okay. That's the thing.
I've never heard of spicy popsicles. That sounds unbelievable.
Very interesting.
They're sweet and spicy. It could be good. It could be bad, but they're not too spicy. We'll see.
Well, thank you for
maybe
your
they're too sweet. Hey, he ain't done.
Oh, there's more gifts.
Don't try to do that.
Christmas in early December.
I don't know which one is which, so I'll just give that one to you.
Hey, this is how. This is how we do
And
it.
that one to you.
Oh, dope.
So
Fuck yeah,
now
sick.
I got
How the
one
fuck did
too.
you get this?
Oh, these are the sample orders.
But they came
shit.
already?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
Hold it up. Hold it up.
That's sick.
But now here's the thing. My logo was put on weird. Those ones look like they're put on correctly. So I got to send mine back.
So you can actually, if you look at the bottom ticker, you can get your very own Texas Coast Offense shirt on the Cowboys Can Fan store.
Oh, yours is covered backwards.
Shout
There
out
you
Mike
go.
McCarthy.
Yeah, Adam's
I
there.
know, I
There
know.
we go. There we go.
Hey,
okay.
shout out Mike McCarthy, who's in the hospital right now. These are dope.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah, AJ.
like-
Thank you.
Texas Coast
Let me
Offense.
off this damn bed.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
sick.
So anyway, sorry, that was it. That's all I wanted to.
Thanks,
Hey,
man.
what are you talking
do.
about? How much for the Crackem shirts? Frankie asks in the chat. So why don't you give us a
For
little
the
plug about,
Crackem?
for our, on the merch store? I think all of our shirts are
like $25.
It's like 20. It's US. Yeah, we get I get Canadian prices, but I think they're like roughly 25 USD each. Yeah.
I
so
didn't get you
go check it
anything,
out.
but thank you for the gifts.
Yeah. No. Well, hey, as long as they're printed, I got a hoodie,
Oh, let's see it. Oh, there
but
you go.
mine was printed.
AJ's is just a big eggplant on it.
No, but it was It was printed like
Texas Coast.
on a bad slant. So,
No, that's a good.
but anyways,
Well,
kind
the-
of cool. I'm gonna try to get this one repaired.
Yeah, do it, dog.
Sweet. Well, and that's actually a good segue about the Texas Coast offense because this offense is humming and they hummed a little bit, but we're about to get into that. What do we got on the docket tonight, AJ?
Well, on today's show, we got the Dallas Cowboys fought through some early game woes to take charge at the end of the game against the Seahawks to bring home that big George W for Cowboys
Big
Nation.
George W.
And now they're pushing, they're 9-3, so they're pushing against those Eagles who took a loss, an ass kicking, if you will, against the 49ers.
Shellacking.
And that game may be a blueprint on how to disrupt, frustrate, and beat the NFC East leaders. So kind of we'll wrap all that together in a package and see how that comes out in the discussion. Then moving on from there, the question is looming here. Are the Dallas Cowboys cooking with enough gas to keep their home record win streak alive? Or are those nasty, dirty little Eagles going to bounce back and cement their position as the #1 seed? So it's Eagles week, baby. And we're going to go in there. Well, they're going to come in our house and we're going to stomp their eggs. That's what I like to say. We'll also be checking out the NFL Power Rankings, see if the boys have cracked the top 5. I think they were just outside.
They were 5 last week.
Okay, so
They
let's
were
see if
5 last week.
Let's see if they move up, crack that top 3 then. Readjust on the fly. That's how we do it.
That's how we do it, baby.
Then we'll do some score and bold predictions, do some Can Fan bets, and take a look at the Can Fantasy Football. It's the last week, so we'll just be looking at what the fallout can be, the wins and losses, who's in the playoffs. I believe almost everyone still has a chance to make it, so that's really
like that.
interesting. So all that, a bunch of crackums on
Yeah, I was
today's
just going to
show.
say, are we going to have any Crackums tonight? And he said it before I said it.
Boosh!
I think we
baby.
are. And Bryson, you were saying off air, but what are you cracking over there? We know you got
Yeah,
something.
I've already cracked it. Unfortunately, I probably should have waited till the show started. But I got some Glacier Freeze Gatorade. So that's not an alcoholic beverage, but I hope that counts.
That's what I'm going to be drinking back at 1 a.m., half laying on my bed. Like, where's my Gatorade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the fuck's my Gatorade?
After Eagles?
Oh yeah, after Eagle, I'm almost preemptively taking Monday off. Like I almost just
Listen,
should
them
take Monday off.
electrolytes gonna keep you up.
Oh, no. Yeah. Look, Bryson, I feel like I tapped in the code. I gotta take electrolytes in the morning, electrolytes before I go to bed, and then electrolytes the next morning in order to stave off a post-game hangover. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna go.
If
into
you
work.
weren't hungover after the Thanksgiving Day game, I don't think it's possible for you to be hungover.
I wasn't.
Like if I don't know how you weren't. So
I don't know how I wasn't either.
Electrolytes. Okay, so Bryson, I'm going to ask you first off, as the guy that isn't necessarily a Cowboys fan, but like some of the guys on the team. What were your thoughts on the Seattle game? Was it a game that the Cowboys should have won more handedly, or was it a hard-fought win?
I don't know if
guess.
it was. I don't know if it was one they necessarily should have won more handily. I'm actually kind of glad the game played out the way it did, because obviously the only downside is how they struggle at times defensively. DK Metcalf had a monster game against Deron Bland, but I think what's the thing that Dallas can kind of hang their hat on is that obviously this is the tough part of their schedule. We've been talking about how after the Commanders game it gets tough: Seattle, Philly, Buffalo, Miami, and then with Detroit. But I think the ability to come back when things aren't necessarily going your way, to win, even as bad as the defense was throughout the game, the last 3 drives shut Seattle out and stopped them 3 times on 4th down at midfield. So maybe they pick up a little bit of momentum off that going to the Eagles game. Obviously, they get a 3-day rest break over Philadelphia. So in terms of their ability, and that's something that's and it's something that I've actually lauded the Eagles for winning close games. Well, we got to keep that same energy and give that to Dallas as well. The ability to win when things aren't necessarily going ideally for you. But listen, I think Dallas has been a great home team. They haven't lost a home game since week 1 of last season, which is pretty incredible. Dak was unbelievable, led a game-winning drive. This could potentially be the outcome, the homecoming, so to speak, or the big game for Jake Ferguson to kind of get in the role himself. That's the thing is, defensively, they struggled. CeeDee Lamb drops 3. I counted 3 passes in the second half of that game. They struggled with penalties, and yet against a team pretty desperate, fighting for its playoff life, you're still able to come out with the win. I think there's a lot Dallas can take away from this and take a lot of momentum and kind of as a blueprint going into this Eagles game.
Well, I like that you brought up the DK Metcalf thing because, yeah, he had an amazing game. And the thing that I liked that I noticed from the Cowboys in the Seahawks game is they came out with a different plan in the second half. They switched Deron Bland and Stephon Gilmore. They switched them. So Gilly went up against DK Metcalf, and then Bland was kind of going against JSN or Lockett, whoever came out of on his side. Deron Bland ended up having an interception in the second half. And as you said, at the very end of the game, the Cowboys had turnover on downs 3 times. So the defense was very lacking in the first part of the game. You had that 70-plus yarder to DK Metcalf to start the game off for the Seahawks. But the Cowboys didn't give up. They kind of figured out what they needed to do, and it was a tale of 2 halves. They kind of got smacked around a little bit at the start and then figured it out with some switch-ups in the second half. And you need to have those types of games. Sure, we want to see every game. We want to see the Cowboys win 41-5 or 6 or 7 or 8 and have our starters taken out in the fourth. But that's just not going to happen every single time. You need to be able to face adversity and win these close games and have that fourth quarter drive and have that fourth quarter takeaway and have that fourth quarter stop, which the Cowboys did have.
And think about this, too, is the fact that the last close game that they were in was against the Eagles, and they obviously weren't able to make the plays there at the end to punch in the end zone. So say they won the Seattle game, say they put up 41, they give up, 24, but they mostly control the game throughout, and they win in what would basically be a rout. Wouldn't it be that maybe I'm going too far in this, but maybe fourth quarter, assuming this game is pretty tight late, some of it can be a little bit of a psychological factor that Philadelphia can say, hey, the last time this team played a close game was against us, and we were able to make the plays there at the end. And then for Dallas, instead, you were able to come off that game, things that go your way. And I think one thing that's interesting, too, you guys brought up Deron Bland and sort of the game plan for Dallas against Seattle in the second half. Do you guys think that obviously Deron breaking the record for most pick sixes in a season, which shout out to him, that's unbelievable. Do you think it's a little bit of 2021 Trayvon Diggs syndrome where he's not the great cover corner that he is now, at least before the injury? He's more of a ball hawk and it's kind of boom or bust. Do you think that's a factor or something Philadelphia can exploit, or how do you think that they should kind of adjust to that?
For me, I think it's just it's a caution for Bland, and it's luckily we came out with the win, so he can kind of take that as just a rap on the wrist instead of like, oh shit, I lost this game for the boys almost single-handedly. I just like I really like the kid. I think he has those ball hawk skills. I don't want him to change the way that he's playing because maybe he has one of these games once or twice a season. I'm willing to make that trade. But if there is anything that comes out of it, hitting the tape room, maybe adjusting a couple things that he did wrong. DK Metcalf is an elite receiver, just physically as a specimen, and then also what he actually can do out there on the football field. So if it was someone else, maybe a little bit more concerning. But also that's a concern because, okay, now you see, let's just put a big body up here against Bland. And
who's he going up against next week?
I know. And so
he's already gone against him, though.
Yeah, but now this is the thing. I don't want to see them putting A.J. Brown, and I don't want them putting Deron Bland on an island now against A.J. Brown.
I think after we look at what happened in that Seahawks game, there has to be some adjustments that are going to be made going into this game because, like you said, they didn't find the recipe on how to beat Deron Bland. They just saw how can we cook this secondary? Well, DK Metcalf was able to do it very, very easily.
On that 74-yard touchdown, or whatever the hell it was, he clocked the fastest time of any
Yep.
runner in the NFL
Yep.
this season. He hit like 30. I think he hit like or 20 something miles.
No,
or
it was
whatever.
like it was
It was
20.
something
It was
high.
like 22.7. I think.
Yeah, something high. But he because I saw a clip of people making fun of Tyreek Hill being like,
Yeah, well, Tyreek Hill did 23 miles per hour in his rookie season.
Oh, it was
oh, is that what's it?
22.23 miles.
Okay,
And
right.
that
I
yeah,
thought it was
22.23, and that's the
That's still
that's
fast.
the fastest this season though of anyone in
Yes.
the NFL.
Yeah,
And
I was,
DK's a much bigger athlete than Tyreek.
That's what I mean. He's
Yeah.
a fucking monster. He's the guy's
Yeah.
he's a doorway. The
He's-
guy's the size of a door.
he's a tight end in a wide receiver one's body.
Essentially, he's like
Sorry,
he's like
he's-
Kyle Pitts but faster is
Yeah.
what he is.
Facts.
Justin Gordon in the chat says, "Let's be honest, the safety went the wrong way. That touchdown wasn't
True.
his fault
Yes,
entirely."
he did.
So
He did. It shouldn't have been. The safety should have been able to. A fan of a big guy that we like in the podcast here, Donovan Wilson. He went completely the wrong way.
Yep.
He should have went out. He went in. He picked up the under guy, and he should have taken the out guy.
I blame Wade
And the
J
other
for
game
not
was
wearing
already
it.
picked up.
Yeah, any other game it's
So-
already picked up. I blame Wade J for not wearing his Wilson his Dono Dub jersey. So that touchdown was on you, AJ. Just
Hey,
saying it.
Hey, I was trying to get some better Wi-Fi from
know.
from the Hooters I was
I,
in.
I know you were. But the other thing, if you rewatch that play, I'm pretty sure it was like grazing. The ball was like grazing Bland's hand. So that was it was very close to being a pick. Very similar to what we saw with Diggs, not last year but the year before, where he's giving up a bunch of yards, but he is getting those interceptions.
But
and he's,
Bland isn't giving up yards. Bland isn't giving
Yeah.
up yards. Minus last game, Bland isn't giving up yards.
sorry, I was going Diggs. You can let a guy have one bad game.
Yeah,
hopefully that's his
exactly.
only bad game of the
It's his
season.
second year. It's
As
his
long as
second
you're
year.
correct.
I'll take 2,000 yards and breaking the interception record halfway through the season. You know,
And you gotta keep in mind too with Deron Bland is he was initially slated to be that they sometimes would put him in the slot, although that's more of Jordan Lewis's role. But before the Diggs injury, he was kind of a slot guy. They'd occasionally put him outside depending if they felt like they had a matchup advantage. But he's kind of adjusting to a brand new role, and like you guys mentioned, he's still a young guy. Whereas Diggs, that's obviously he's shifted from being a receiver to a corner, but not as big of an adjustment as Deron Bland's had to make. So the fact that he's done what he's done, and like you said, his ball skills and his anticipation is just absolutely off the charts. It's probably the best I've seen from a corner, or at least from a guy in the secondary since maybe Tyrann Mathieu, and we know how great he's been in his career. So, but no, Deron Bland's made that adjustment, and listen, he did have a bad game. You guys 100% mentioned the fact that in the comments talking about where Wilson took the guy the intermediate route instead of helping with DK Metcalf. If the plan for Dallas is to put Deron Bland on AJ Brown, then you're going to need Deron Bland. You're going to need Malik Hooker or some of these other guys to kind of help you out.
definitely.
I kind of want to. I wish I would have gone back to, and maybe I will after tonight. Not that it matters any. It should.
It always matters.
I was gonna say it should have happened last night, but I'm gonna go back and watch the matchup between where Bland was matched up or paired up against the Eagles game. Like,
Yeah.
because we play pretty big man coverage for most of the time, and in a game like that, they're playing soft coverage to try to allow that.
Eagles game, they were targeting Lewis a lot. Eagles game, AJ Brown targeting Lewis. Like they were bringing AJ Brown across the middle. What I don't want to see is Deron Bland, now that he got beat last week, give the guy a little bit in the first quarter, give him some help over the top.
Yep.
And make sure that the guy that's supposed to give him help over the top gives him help over the top. You don't want to see him get cooked again in the first quarter. Like, I just do whatever you have to do to make sure Deron Bland doesn't get cooked in the first quarter, and we'll be fine.
It is nice to see that mentally. We talked about how mentally, when we were streaming it, how mentally that could really affect a player. But for him to come out and still get an interception is solid. Shows that he wasn't completely broken.
And then the offense go 3 and out with that interception.
So the one drive that we needed the offense to continue to stay on pace, what they were, I blame Dak Prescott for not letting us win our bet.
Wow, you're a Dak hater. You know what's funny though, that you bring
He's
up
always
that
been a Dak skeptic.
you know that you bring that bet. So Bryson, we had a few bets going last week. We bet the Cowboys with the spread, so they were -7, and we bet Dak Prescott with 300 passing yards.
Oh,
300 passing yards, a win, and I think it was 2 touchdowns. And he threw 299.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah,
and
that
then,
was brutal. Yeah.
and then on that third down, when they were in the red zone on like the 9-yard line, he threw to CeeDee Lamb in the end zone. CeeDee catches that. We stacking bills, son.
We stacking bills, kid.
Well, first, real quick here. just,
Crack me if you got
crack
him.
me if you got him.
What do you got over there?
Huh?
What is that?
It's what?
Oh, it's your
my koozie.
Oh, it's your koozie.
Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
our-
what
hey,
the fuck drink do you have over
It's
there?
our Saved by the Bell
Oh,
koozies.
okay. They got the Saved by the Bell koozies going. All right.
But speaking of changing strategy, and I did watch the great Napoleon film, so I'm really into French Revolution strategy right now.
What'd you give it out of 100?
Out of 100?
Yeah, it just seems like a
I
good.
mean, Joaquin Phoenix was, or Joaquin Phoenix was.
I was gonna say I don't think you said it right either.
Yeah. Look, I'm an English speaking man. I pronounce my J's.
Joaquin.
But he was really, really good. So I'm gonna give it a 75 out of
75. That's decent. 7.5 out of 10. Same thing.
There was
like,
a few
good.
things, but it was just my nitpicky thing.
Any
enjoyable.
full frontal nudity?
No, but some hints at it, and some really funny sex scenes, I should say.
Yeah, I read about that.
There was like 5 or 6 very comical moments that
were they supposed to be funny?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
and I laughed out
because I almost think when there's a funny moment in a movie to you, like while you're watching, but it's not supposed to be funny.
No,
it's subjective. Yeah.
No. These were. I mean, I'm assuming they seemed very blatantly meant to be funny, especially with the editing. But anyways. But speaking of strategy changes, are we concerned at all with that front line of the boys and the defense kind of breaking and instead of just bending a little bit here, especially against the Seahawks game and now coming into the Eagles, who we know, if they're going to do anything, they're going to put points on the board, and they have a knack for eking out or squeaking out wins when it really matters. So are these two things a concern? Or, better question, which one are you more concerned about?
Bryson, what do you think?
Yeah, I think for Dallas in that game against Seattle, I think the concerning thing is how many big plays Seattle was able to generate. Like it wasn't a whole lot of these long drag out drives where it was just beat you down physically, kind of death by 1,000 cuts. It was a lot of big plays. At the end of the half, the play to Smith and Jigba. I remember even when the drops by Lockett was going to be a 25, 30-yard gain. So for Dallas, the question is, do they play kind of like us? Because obviously we know Dan Quinn is a big-time man-to-man guy. Does he play like a soft man to not give the big play to A.J. Brown? But then again, you sort of, it's again, pick your poison, because that's what Buffalo did at the end of regulation, is just give them these 10, 15-yard completions. They could get down the field in the blink of an eye. So, I mean, that's the thing for Dallas. And obviously missing Van Der Esch is going to be key. And obviously we mentioned before with Diggs. That's I think the key for them is stopping A.J. Brown. That's easier said than done. He's one of the premier receivers in the sport, and saying if Devontae Smith beats us, he beats us. Obviously, Devontae's one of the better twos in the league. But Dan Quinn's defensive game plan is going to be very interesting. Does he put a spy on Jalen Hurts? Does he want to blitz? Hurts hasn't been amazing against the blitz this year, at least from what I've looked at. So there's a lot of options to come at the Eagles with, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of clear-cut answers because of how successful this offense has been, like y'all mentioned, especially in the second half of games. But if there's anything I do want to see, is that if it is tight, and I think we all anticipate it'll be, within range for either team, if Dallas is up, say 3-4 points, 5 minutes to go, don't give Philadelphia these soft completions. If they beat you over the top late, that's one thing. But I
don't give them these layups. Don't give them fucking layups. Yeah, you got to fight.
Yeah.
I hate teams, and you bring up a good point. I hate when teams play a certain way for 3.5 quarters, and they've been winning the whole time, and then with the last 5 minutes of the game, they completely abandon that and play this stupid cover 2 shell that just gets picked apart. You see it so often in the NFL, and I don't understand it. Why wouldn't you just keep playing what got you to winning the game in the first place? They get so scared of getting beat deep that they give up, like you said, 15 yards, 8 yards, 7 yards, and it's like,
and you're in the red zone.
And then they're in the red zone, and then Jalen Hurts runs a touchdown to win the game. It's just such a stupid way. And I haven't seen Dallas do that yet in any of their leads. It seems like they play their style of a lot of man. They don't necessarily blitz that much. They're hoping that their front four can get pressure enough, and then they just lock down pretty much. So hopefully they do that. The one thing with AJ's question that I'll say that I'm not concerned about the defense, because the defense finished the game strong, right? I would have been more concerned if the defense started in the first 2 to 3 quarters lights out and then gave up 21 points in the fourth, right? Whereas they kind of did the opposite. They gave up a shit ton of points in the first 3 quarters, and then when it was crunch time, they got 3 turnovers on downs. You had Micah there, the Seattle's strategy of letting Micah Parsons just be an open rusher on Geno Smith on the last play of the game. Still mind-boggling to me. Don't really understand it. Doesn't seem like a good idea. I hope the Eagles do it lots. But no, I'm not worried about the defense, but I would like to see the defense. I'd like to see the defense have a better showing against the Eagles than the first game they played and the game they played against Seattle.
They played a lot of tight game. Like there wasn't a lot of rest between us, so the defense is bagged. Whatever. We have 10 days off coming into this game. I'm not worried about the defense. They finished strong. We still won the game. It's the offense's turn to carry the team. They carried the team that game, and I think we'll readjust. I think we'll have the rest is going to be solid. I had to laugh though. There's a guy in chat. He's an Eagles fan, and he says Cowgirls better beat Eagles because you guys schedule getting tougher. Bills Miami lines. He's saying that you guys, just because we always make fun of the Eagles.
I mean, the Eagles schedule, Eagles schedule is easier than the Cowboys, but it's like, if we beat the Eagles, I still think that Seattle could beat the Eagles. New York, I could see having a sneaky game against them. Arizona with Kyler Murray is a lot better than they were when we played them. Like the Eagles, sure, their schedule looks easy when you look at teams' records, but they're still playing against teams that can have sneaky wins. So
let's
so use guys in the chat. You better hope use guys wins.
Why don't we hold the Eagles talk for a little bit here, cook through some of our other items on the list, and then we'll start talking about how he's going to beat those guys.
Don't you try to direct this podcast where you want it to go to.
Well, hey, guess what? I just did.
What do you want to
power rankings?
Well,
final thoughts on the Seahawks game, I guess.
I will Seahawks final game and then a couple other quick rapid recaps. But we can skip through. I thought we were going to talk a little bit about Dakota.
Go for it.
Dakota MVP. Bryson, you're a Dak guy. There's been a lot of chatter. I mean, is Dak still in the race for MVP contention? He's been having a great.
Is he still in the race?
Is he still in the race? I'd say he's got that baton and he's 100 meters up on anyone.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he'd been in the race. He's been in the race for a while, and I thought he took the MVP lead against Washington in that game when he played unbelievable. But this game against Seattle, again, this is what separates MVPs. We talk about your MVP moment. If there's one play from Dak that I'll remember this season, it's when he breaks out of a sack, rolls out to his right, and throws the ball to Jalen Tolbert. Like just the confidence, and obviously Dak's a big, strong dude, and his core strength is off the charts. But the ability to, I think that's Darrell Taylor, who's a Tennessee guy. Go Vols! But Darrell Taylor's come around the edge, about to bring him down, and Dak's able to shake him off and get to Jalen Tolbert. But no, listen, his numbers are off the chart. And again, I'm not saying we have to go into like a whole Dak versus Purdy debate because I'm a big Purdy guy.
No, do it. Let's do it.
But I think when their numbers across the board are almost identical, if you look at like the 6 major quarterback stats, Dak wins 3, Purdy wins 3. And obviously, in fairness to Purdy, he did outplay Dak and they won. But if we're talking, this is where I get really worked up on my show is where we don't take enough we don't take the value word, the V word, into much of an account. And, this is not to take a shot at the Dallas guys, but I think CeeDee Lamb is the only player for the Cowboys, only skill position guy that would start for San Francisco. McCaffrey's the best running back in the league. Kittle's maybe the best tight end in the league. Ayuk's unbelievable. He's an excellent receiver. Debo's we saw what he did against Philly. He's a do-it-all type of guy, run the football with him, throw the football to him. And, a lot of Purdy's stats were some of these short completions to Debo, and he's getting some serious yak after the play. So I think we talk about value, Dak to Dallas and Purdy to San Francisco. With respect to Purdy, I don't even think it's close.
Well, I'll use something that I watched on the 8 o'clock spot. Shout out to Bryson's show. He does the 8 o'clock spot on Tuesdays. I'll throw something out about Brock Purdy that I heard on the show yesterday. How could you call Brock Purdy the MVP of the league when he's not even the MVP on that offense? And that's so true. Christian McCaffrey's the MVP on that offense. Right?
I would argue it's Trent Williams.
Or skill position player, right? Where you look at the Cowboys offense, who's the MVP on the offense right now? Dak Prescott, without a doubt. You're not saying, CeeDee Lamb's obviously playing out of his mind, but Dak is the cog that makes the wheel go, right? Whereas Brock Purdy is just a very good complementary piece to an already amazing offense. So to me, that tilts it in Dak Prescott's direction because he's the one, again, like you said, CeeDee Lamb's probably the only skill player that cracks San Fran's squad. And Dak's he's 4 touchdowns here, 3 touchdowns there. Turpin scoring touchdowns, Ferguson scoring touchdowns, and Dak's
he's elevating everybody.
He's elevating everyone. Right, he's making everyone better.
Yeah. And that's
the mark of an MVP. Like that's what Aaron Rodgers did for years in Green Bay. That's what Tom Brady did for 2 decades in New England and a few years in Tampa Bay. Like, and again, this is not a shot at Purdy because I really like the kid, but they were successful with Jimmy G, more successful with Purdy because Purdy's better than Jimmy G. But swap Dak and Purdy, and do the numbers still look as nip and tuck as they are? I don't think they do. I think Dak, obviously from an intangible perspective, I don't know if you saw his soundbite from actually I'm sure y'all did where he said. I've got the pen and paper to write my own story and write my own narrative. And that's the heartbeat of that locker room. That's everything runs through Dak. In that regard, even Micah Parsons, who's a fantastic vocal leader, was like, man, that's my quarterback, like kind of playing on TO sort of. And listen, the vibes are good in Dallas, and Dak's playing the best he's ever played. And Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit for that. Like allowing Dak to be Dak, letting him get outside the pocket, throw deep. He's always been one of the better deep throwers in the league. He just didn't get that opportunity much before. So allowing Dak to be the best version of himself. I think y'all were in the game in LA against the Chargers where we started to see glimpses of it with his legs. He ran that touchdown in, and ever since it feels like he's just been on an upward trajectory.
That was the turning point, definitely. That SoFi game was the turning point.
Some of us saw that game.
We'll just skip back. Skip past the comments. That
I was gonna say,
go for it. Go for it.
Like, he could talk shit. Ad doesn't remember the Thanksgiving Day game. Like,
hey, if you are out there and you're looking for someone to turn up hard at games, it's the Bandwagon Boys, baby.
Bandwagon?
And we both can't be loaded at the same time.
I don't know what I'd do if you both were on that level.
I mean, we both were pretty loaded on Thanksgiving, but I was definitely a little bit further.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
The Mike McCarthy comment that you made, Bryson, he said it in the offseason. The offense is in Dak's hands. I want to put Dak in a position where he's comfortable to make
those are some big hands to put it in too.
Yep. Massive hands, gargantuan feet, and letting Dak go out there and cook. And it's obviously starting to work.
The one question that has been burning in my mind since I was last on the 8 o'clock spot, just a secondary shout out. I mean, I didn't know you were going to say that, Ant. So now we're doubling down.
Who's
double dip?
Both you guys are S-ing Bryson's D right now.
We're doing it
on the show.
No, well, this was 2 weeks ago, and I was making the argument that Dak Prescott is the MVP, and lo and behold, I think the world agrees with me now. But
we've been thinking it since
Vegas
we were thinking it when he was plus 3,000. We fucked up, guys.
I know.
Bryson, we were just gonna throw $100 down when it was plus 3,000, and I couldn't figure out DraftKings, so we didn't do it.
We abandoned it.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Hey, it's a paper bet still.
Yeah, it's a paper bet because we were all in. We're like, you guys were like, did you make the bet? I was like, I don't.
We're like,
I can't.
I don't know how to make the bet right now. I don't know what to do with my hands.
But the comment was when I kind of threw down what I believed Dak Prescott, why he was the most valuable player to the team, and I might have not done the best argument. I'll admit. But the comment was, well, Cooper Rush came in last year and won those 6 games. And, I wasn't going to rebuke because of the flow of the show. I mean, I had my time, so I bit my tongue. But I just wanted to bring it. It's easy. Because it's like, okay, fair point. I didn't cover that. That's part of the show. I liked it. But I just want to now that we have room to breathe. How true is that statement? I think there's a little truth in it, but I still don't think that we would see the plays that Dak
Look at
Prescott
the numbers
made.
difference between Cooper Rush's stats winning those games. It's not even close. Like
even last year's Dak, it wasn't even close.
No, last year Dak doesn't even. Last year's Dak was not Dak Prescott. It wasn't. His thumb was bugging him. That was not Dak Prescott. Sure, he was good enough. He was still.
It was Dak Lescott.
Yeah. He was still, in my mind, a top 10 quarterback because he was still making good reads. He still had a 12-5 team, but it just wasn't the Dak that I was used to seeing. Dak is not a turnover machine. He never has been. The narrative that it just drove me fucking bonkers because guys that I've been in a fantasy football league with for fucking 8 years. And I have Dak, and they're all like making the memes about Dak throwing interceptions. Like, do you guys not remember the 6 prior years where he didn't throw interceptions? And I knew the Dak, and we all got a little bit frustrated in the San Fran game in the postseason, naturally. But this Dak,
I ripped my jersey.
You were
off
mad.
And I said maybe Dak's not the guy.
I
apologize. It's on tape.
We were all wasted. AJ, why? Or is this last week's?
No,
I thought you were still. I was like,
don't worry.
I'm watching what you're doing.
I'm just looking at last week. Sorry.
And I know Bryson's on our page here. Dak from last year was not what Dak Prescott is, and I honestly think for his mindset, last year almost might have benefited us now for how he is this year. Like this year version of Dak, and people saying, well, he's doing it against these teams and that teams. I don't give a fuck. You still have to do it. You still have to do it against who you're playing against. He can't decide who he's playing against.
These are all NFL teams.
They're all NFL teams. He did it against Seattle. He did it against Philadelphia.
They're doing what they're supposed to do in 3.5 quarters.
Yeah,
and that's what no one ever said. Like
I know,
they're doing it what they have to do in 3.5 quarters.
He's been pulled out 7 times of the game. So I love Dak.
And
I love Dak.
You know what's interesting too? Again, not to bring Brock Purdy in, but again, just because he's kind of the front runner with Dak right now, it's a good comparison. Like, listen, it's a fair case. Like, hey, Brock's team has beat these good teams. I saw a stat that Jacksonville, Eagles, and Cowboys game combined for San Francisco, they won like 118-32. So they're crushing these teams.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dallas is beating some bad teams. But something that's interesting is the fact that, and sometimes even I could get caught in this, like, oh, it's Dak versus Jalen Hurts. Well, they're not facing each other. They're facing the defenses for the opposing side. I saw a stat that was very interesting, and I hope I'm getting this right. But the strength of defenses that Dak has played, like in terms of their rankings, if you combine them, Dak's the defenses he's played would rank like 18th in the NFL. Purdy's would rank 19th. And again, Purdy's working with more weapons. So again, it's a lot more even in terms of the competition they face than a lot of folks are giving credit for. And like you said, like last year, there were some games against some. I mean, obviously the Washington game at the end was a disaster. And Dak did not play well at all in that game. And
that was his worst game I've watched him play. That was probably his worst game.
That game, there was a game against I think it was 2017. He played. He had that really rough stretch when Zeke was out. Like it's been a while ago, but by and large, he's been incredibly consistent, accurate, and again, like he's been on a roll. Mike McCarthy has gotten the best out of him, and that's why the offense is clicking right now.
I'll get one with you, Ad. Crack him if you got him. Crack him if you got him.
Crack him if you got him.
Before we get into this power rankings, because I know you guys have it primed in the
just
the
wait,
barrel.
it's just boosting.
I know you got it loaded up. You boosted it up. But one thing I do like this season is our strength is like our hardest part of our schedule is going into the playoffs, right? Playoffs. Whereas last year, going into the postseason, we played like Indianapolis, who was not good. We played Tennessee, who was not good. We played Washington, who was not good. Like we had these teams that none of them were in the postseason. Whereas this year, we're almost playing fucking 5 or 4 playoff teams in the last 5 weeks of the season. So it's like a warm up to going into the postseason. I like that better. Even if we drop 1 or 2 going in, even if we're only a wild card team, I like that we're facing competition that has already done it. That they're playoff teams. We're gonna see good quarterbacks. We're gonna see good offenses. We're gonna see good defenses. We're gonna see great coaching. I would rather have that and drop a game or 2 than play these fucking shit games against the Colts like we did last year, Tennessee last year. And I like having this type of strength of teams going into the end of the season.
And your antennas are up, and you're playing your best football, at least you hope, at the end of the season. And that's one thing too, is because Dallas, ever since that Eagles loss, has been trying to just catch up to Philadelphia. They understand internally, hey, we got to play our best football in order to get back into this race. And even if whether they catch the Eagles or not is irrelevant to whether or not they're able to perform in the playoffs. And and that's obviously something. Now, again, if they're the 5 seed, that might as well be a bye if they play the NFC South champ. They'll steamroll Atlanta, New Orleans, anybody. But that's I can just see.
We hope.
I can just see that. We hope, yeah. I could just see the next day, like on all these shows, like the Cowboys beat another bad team. It's like, guys, it's the playoffs. It is what it is. You got to play who's in front of you on your playoff schedule. But I completely agree with you. That's and we saw this. We saw this with Kansas City last year. They played some tough games toward the end of the year. Tampa Bay. So it's when you are battle tested toward the end of the season and your antennas are up, you understand you got to play your best football at the end, and that could be really good for a football team. I think that'll be the case for Dallas.
I just one last thing. I do like how they're rolling into a formidable group of opponents here at the end of the season.
It's like you're looking at them. It's like you're squaring off in the octagon against 5 of them. It's like I don't know. I'm doing this dance. I don't know if you're in the if you're in the octagon looking like this, you're getting knocked out. So don't go in the octagon like this. But I like the fact that they're looking at these tough opponents and it's like, let's see what you got. Yeah, let's see what you're made of.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and they've been hearing all season that they can't beat them. So just extra added motivation.
Exactly.
Yep.
Do you want to hit some chat comments before we roll into the next section?
Let's hear what chat's
doing.
We've
been pretty neglected. I know them people champs. I've been throwing the stuff up on
You're
the screen.
supposed to just throw it out. You're not supposed to gaslight us and have us ask about chat. Just bring chat out.
AJ's been back. Bryson's on. It's just hard.
Hey, that's why we offer these breaks to release that steam. Okay.
Ad's looking at chat going down and you know he's panicking.
Yeah, big time. Well, and I'm running two. I'm running two right now. I'm running our TikTok chat.
Oh, we're
and
live on TikTok?
Yeah, we're live on TikTok.
Oh shit, yeah.
Okay,
Welcome
well,
TikTok.
let's hear. Welcome.
So our cousin Scotty Too Hottie says,
Scotty, what's up?
Evening, boys. Whopper. There's a guy named Whopper in the chat, and he seems pretty hot. Seems pretty hot.
Seems pretty hot.
Hot guy.
What's his name?
His
What's
name's
his real
Whopper.
name? What's his number?
You can see his profile
His
pic.
name's Whopper.
Whopper ASL.
But he goes. He said a couple comments earlier on that I was like, oh, that's. I don't know if he's agreeing with us or if he's against us. But this one, he says, Whopper says, Purdy lost 3 straight games. I mean, what is this conversation? Well, the conversation is what every other analyst out there is talking about right now.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
It's all in love, Whopper.
Take it easy on Whopper. Come on.
It's all in love. I do love Whoppers with cheese.
Oh yeah, Whopper Wednesday.
You know what? Yeah, we had that Whopper on the way. Anyways, I digress. The biggest thing that I hate, and we talked about Dak Prescott, and you mentioned the interceptions, is it doesn't. If you're a Cowboys quarterback, specifically Dak Prescott, you're under such a microscope. So Dak, they can't just say Dak against Mahomes. It's like, well, hey, Brock Purdy's having a great. Brock Purdy's an MVP. After that Eagles game, defeating the 10-1 Eagles, it's like, okay, Brock Purdy is the next MVP above Dak Prescott, right? And I agree. He's lost 3 games in a row. You can see where the San Francisco 49ers aren't invincible. And Nate Dogg, when he was in the studio this past weekend when we streamed the game, he said 49ers are one player away from being a bad team. Like one player goes down, he's never seen another team because he's a 49ers fan. And he's talking about he's like, if someone gets injured on the 49ers, we don't play the same way that we usually play. So
one of the key,
one of the skill guys,
one of the skill guys,
one of the skill guys, Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. Any of those guys are gone.
Yeah.
It's a big miss.
Yeah, Rich P in the chat says Purdy gets to throw 1-yard pass to Debo and he takes it 40+ yards.
Love it. For my fantasy, I love that.
Yeah, Gus, our boy Gus is in the chat. What up, Gus?
What up, GR?
Too bad Mac Jones didn't get drafted by the Niners, or he would be in the MVP conversation.
Don't get me fired up about Mac Jones. Don't do this right now. I'm gonna come out this chair.
And then we have
this chair. No.
and then we have a bunch of Eagles comments that we'll save until we get into the Eagles chat. So AJ, how about we kick it into actually, Llama Gamer, I'll give one last comment here. When the 49ers are healthy, they are hard to beat, but if we see them in the playoffs, maybe third time's a charm.
Hell yeah, I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried. This is what I'm worried about right now. Win the division. Actually, I'm not even at that. Just beat Philly on Sunday. Beat Philly on Sunday. Okay, let's get into these power rankings. Bryson, before we get into these, we always go around and we try to guess where the Cowboys might be on the rankings. Last week, they were 5th.
Yes.
On the power ranking charts. Obviously, they had a close one versus against Seattle this last Thursday. So we're gonna lead out. We're gonna give Bryson the first choice. Where do you think the Cowboys are in this week's Eric Ed Holmes NFL.com power rankings?
And he's a real douche, so just remember that.
Of course they do, because he already gave us who the first seed is.
Yeah, he always does that.
He always gives you at least one.
So let's see. So I would assume, this is just off the top of my head, I guess who the teams that were above them last week would have been Kansas City, Baltimore, San Francisco, Philly.
Yeah.
So I would guess probably 4th. I guess they put him over Kansas City since they lost to the Packers. I actually had Dallas number 2 on my top 10 list on today's show. So I've got them only behind the Niners right now. I think they're playing amazing football. But if I had to guess, I would probably say 4, maybe 3, but I'll say 4.
4 is a good guess.
4 is a really good
4 is a good guess. Bandwagon boys, I think you guys got to go together on this one.
We'll go together. I think I
can just hear Ad's happy fingers typing in chat right now.
I'm saying the smarter bet here, because I think it's 4, is 5, that they don't show him love, but I can't imagine that's going to happen. Or do we just fucking jump the gun and say, let's go Trey?
You guys are going 3? I think 3 is good. 4 is what I had them at. Same with what Bryson was thinking because of Kansas City's loss. I think they're going to just swap Kansas City and Dallas. So you guys went 3, Bryson went 4. There's no fucking way we're at 2. Baltimore had a bye. They're going to stay up in where they are, which I think was 3.
Yeah.
So I think I got to go 5 just because I can't go 2. So I got to go 5.
I do think it's going to be Bryson picking.
Yeah, 4 is a great spot.
It's the Dak number.
Yeah, it's Dak.
Look,
MVP, baby.
And we always do this. We always prices right ourselves here. So,
4 is a good spot. 4 is a good spot. So they already told us San Fran's at 1. Ed Holm already told us.
They're back. You know what?
Deservingly.
Definitely I'm taking back my comments that the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. I believe that is now the San Francisco.
Do you think
49ers.
the Eagles only dropped down 1, though?
I think so.
Let's
They're
have a
going to
look.
hit 2?
I think Baltimore's
Oh,
equal. Yeah, there you go.
Baltimore. Yeah. So Baltimore stayed at 2, which is
Stayed at
fair.
2.
They didn't get their asses spanked. They were on a bye week. You can't drop them down from 2 because the Eagles aren't at 1 anymore, right? So I think that's a fair spot.
Then we got the Eagles dropping
The Eagles
2.
at 3, so bandwagon boys are out.
Yeah.
Bandwagon boys
Knew
are
it.
out.
We knew
hey,
it.
Hey, we already knew it.
We knew it.
We already saw our destiny.
So MVP 4 is coming up.
MVP 4.
There it
Okay.
is.
We knew
Bryce,
it.
son.
We knew it.
Okay, so since the loss to the Eagles, do you want me to read it?
Yeah. Sorry. It started floating on me.
You're floated. Since the loss to the Eagles, the Cowboys have gone 4-0, winning the first 3 of those games by an average of 30 points. This past Thursday's triumph was notable for the fact that Dallas never panicked, despite Seattle leading for much of the second half. It's a testament to how dangerous the Cowboys' offense has become, even if the defense struggled to get off the field against the Seahawks. But dem boys now have extra rest coming to the big rematch against the Eagles in Dallas this Sunday night. The Eagles' Week 13 loss really invigorated the races for the NFC East crown and the conference's top seed. Dallas has won 14 straight at AT&T Stadium, but the defense will have some work to do after the Seahawks diced it up. Fuck you, buddy. You didn't dice shit. I mean, they did, but still, fuck you, boy.
4 is a good spot.
The interesting thing for me is I think the Seahawks, especially in how they played, I don't believe the Eagles are going to have that same firepower. I believe the Eagles can comfortably get 28 points on the boys. So it's just a matter of getting 29 or getting 4 touchdowns. Let me do my math
First score to 35. First to 35.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to. Let's round off this 10 here. We got
Miami.
the Dolphins. Chiefs fell.
Chiefs
to
tumbling.
6.
Chiefs
fell a lot.
tumbling. Well deserved.
But
Well deserved tumble.
Real quick comment on the Chiefs here. This is what happens when you rely on your tight end being your number 1 receiver for too long and don't properly build up. It's not that they would need to go out and get a true number 1 in the NFL.
Just get a
wide
true number
receiver.
2.
Get a true number 2, exactly.
I'm still pissed at KC. They should have beat the Eagles, man.
Oh,
we
yeah.
watched it. We were sitting in Dallas, sitting at our Airbnb, watching this game on TV.
We were at Tacos Margaritas.
Not the end of it though. When he
we
dropped
were all
the pass.
over. We were all over.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was a brutal drop by MVS.
Yeah, the MVS drop.
MVS, there's a great highlight reel that you can watch of him dropping similar passes like that like 10 times.
From Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Two of the most premier QBs in the NFL.
How?
Detroit Lions at 7 moved up 1. Respect. Jacksonville down 8 with Trevor Lawrence injured with a high ankle sprain.
Not good.
Not
for
good. Hopefully,
Jacksonville.
I mean, the high ankle sprain's a lot better news than an ACL or some sort of any type of tear, Achilles, anything like that. So
on this, does that put Jacksonville at potentially missing the playoffs?
No.
If no
No,
playoffs.
they're not missing the playoffs.
no, they're
They could-
going to be
Houston
in.
could catch them for the division, though. Houston could catch them.
But they're wild card. They're going to
okay.
be wild card pretty much no
what
matter what.
Sorry, you're right. That's what I meant. Are they potentially going to be? They can now. If they lose out, they'll end up second in the division, right?
They're still going to have a wild card team. They would have to have, even with a backup quarterback, an epic fail to the rest of the season.
I do want to see. It would be nice. I mean, that Monday night game was like it was a back and forth. I mean, I didn't care who won.
It was great.
It was a good game.
Really good game.
Browning for the Cincy? Like, who the fuck is this dude? He was killing it.
Browning comes in and he starts putting up points for freaking Chase. The one I would rather see going into this upcoming week, former BC Lions quarterback.
He's not even on the team.
Nathan, I thought he was on the team.
No, they got rid of him.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I was talking to a BC Lions
He's
fan
a CFL
today.
darling. He's practice squad.
He's a practice squad guy.
He's practice squad.
Damn him. Hey, well, I was just going to say.
Well, step 1, don't talk to a CFL fan, and you'll be better off with your team.
It wasn't just a CFL fan. It was a big BC Lions fan. He's like, hey, it's going to be curious to see what happens to Nathan Rourke. I was like, is he, I thought Berthrand or the
MVP.
Beat hard?
Beat hard, Berthrand. Beat hard, let's just be honest. Just like vanilla.
Yeah.
He's almost like a Wish version of Cooper Rush.
Yeah, but that's just what backup quarterbacks are, though.
Yeah, but not a Wish version of Cooper Rush.
That's just how it is, though.
For my second favorite football team's offense to watch, it's the Houston Texans.
They
have been doing
Yes.
some really fun.
I've enjoyed
fun-
watching the Texans.
Oh yeah.
And we have I don't know if Harold's still in the chat, but he comes in and he starts saying, put some motherfucking respect on the Houston Texans.
Okay,
CJ
okay.
Stroud's his future. But yeah, Harold's, and we're talking about. We like.
Yeah, we have nothing
we have
wrong
nothing
with
against
it.
the
Yeah,
Texans.
use it.
And finishing off
The
the
Tank
top
Dell
10
loss
here.
is big, though. The Tank
It
Dell
is.
loss is big.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
He was one of my
Fantasy
wide
darling.
receivers.
Is
Fantasy
that
darling.
season ending?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is.
And then finishing the top 10 here, Cleveland Browns, respectable. But I think after you get out of that 5 or 6, it's a different tier. Like we've got Cowboys in the tier 1. I mean, some people will separate.
They're tier 1.
Yeah, but some people will separate San Fran from everyone.
S and A.
Yeah. Some people will say San Fran's the only one in that S or that
Which
tier
I
1.
agree. I do agree with a little bit.
Look, I'm not upset with that, but Cowboys are definitely in that upper echelons and deservingly so. So hey,
Who's number 11 though? Can you just tease me here a bit?
okay, and we're stopping there.
I bet it's Green Bay.
You think so?
Is it on there?
Ooh, it's
Oh,
your
it's your Steelers.
Oh,
Okay, well,
Bryson
who's number
Steelers.
12?
Hey, as a Steelers fan, man, I disagree. We just lost by 2 touchdowns to the Cardinals. No, we're not 11.
Yeah,
Green
but the
Bay's better than us.
I will say this though, Cardinals with Kyler Murray, different team than without him. Even though we lost to the Dobb-led Arizona team.
Yeah, that's 2 touchdowns at home as a 6-point favorite. That's not good.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's not good at all.
Okay, well
Don't depress me by talking about the Steelers, man. I'm dreading tomorrow night. Dreading it.
Don't.
right.
Well, Thursday nighters are weird.
Who are they playing tomorrow night?
The Patriots.
That's gonna be
That is a
greasy.
game that's going to set offense back a half century. I'm telling y'all. 17-9, and that's being generous.
Well, the Patriots.
Wow, that's a scoring affair. I think you got to shave at least 6 points off each of those.
Well, thankfully they flexed the Patriots out of one of the primetime games because they had like 3 weeks of primetime games.
They're just the Patriots are
starting last
so
week.
bad,
Yeah,
so
They're
bad.
really bad.
go ahead, do it, AJ. It's perfect time to get it.
Oh.
Get it, dog.
Crack him if you got him,
Crack 'em if you
son.
got 'em,
Crack him
kid.
if you got him, AJ. Welcome back to the studio, AJ, all the way from Mexico, AJ.
Guys, it's Eagles week.
Use guys.
Eagles week, you
Hey,
guys.
Eagles guys, it's
Let's
Eagles
get
week.
into it. We got those dirty, stinking Philly Eagles coming into AT&T Stadium, try to muck up Jerry Jones's barn, and it ain't gonna happen.
Not happening.
Now, that game kicks off Sunday, 5:20 p.m. PST, 7:20 p.m. CST,
Oh my God.
8:20 p.m. EST, and our show will kick off 1 hour before that football does.
It's
So,
And you know what how we're starting the show off? We're starting it off with a screenshot and a shotgun because we owe
owe
Deron
it.
Bland
Yeah.
that pick 6. Anyone that follows the podcast, follows the show, follows the live streams, whenever there's a pick 6 or whenever there's a defensive touchdown, it's a shot of screech and a shotgun. We were at AT&T Stadium, so we couldn't shotgun. We couldn't have a shot of screech. That's how we're starting the show off at 4:25 PST, baby.
I love it.
Boosh.
And I do just want to hop in here real quick, bringing
Hop in.
up these quarterbacks. We got to talk these quarterbacks. The comparison, like I do like Bryson's point earlier, though. It's really the quarterback versus the defense, but we're gonna look at both these guys here. My biggest stat that I want to bring up is that touchdown to interception ratio. Dak this is season to date, 4.7 touchdowns to interceptions, and Hurts, including rushing as well, passing rushing. So if you're just looking at passing, it's a lot different, but we know what Hurts can do with his legs, so you got to include that. He's at 3.1 touchdown to interception.
Fuck, so his passing to interception must be awful.
Yeah, well, it's about
Was it 18-10?
yeah,
Wow.
it's 1
Something like that?
It's not good.
It's 1.8
not good.
then.
But he adds he's got 12 touchdowns with his legs
Can't discount.
or something
Can't
like that.
discredit that.
So
Yeah, if you're a running back.
and then real quick, the next thing, I'm just gonna read off Dak Prescott's last 5 games
hear
because
But you get an interruption with a super chat from
okay,
Gus
okay.
saying Philly sucks.
Philly sucks.
$4.99 sucks. There it is. And
Thanks, Gus.
right on cue, Ikran Flowers is in the chat just to see the Philly sucks, and all he can say is I. Ikran Flowers is a notorious Eagles troll who comes into our chat all the
Fuck
time.
him.
hey, but you're welcome, Ikran. Just make sure you keep chatting. We want those.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah,
Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay.
Come back every
Sorry.
week. Make sure you come here
Yeah.
for that live show, because if you're watching anywhere else, you're doing yourself a non-favor.
He's a Philly fan. Of course, he's going to do himself a misfavor. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry, AJ.
Dak Prescott last 5 games, 1,597 yards,
Ooh,
8.5
dang.
average, which is what I really look at, just in terms of moving that ball. 16 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an impossible 123.1 QBR. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah. Buddy, what? 121 QBR? That is godlike. That is
123.1?
120. That is fucking mind-boggling. I love it.
It's the 16 touchdowns to 1 int.
That shoots it. Well, that shoots up the QBR, right? That
Absolutely.
skyrockets
absolutely,
it.
And don't forget the nearly 1,600 yards. That's 300 yards average, which we wish he would have got last week. But hey, we're moving on. We're on to the Eagles.
Jack, we just needed that one goddamn yard, you son of a bitch.
Lawnwear says you can discount the TDs if they're all 1 yard each and required the tush push.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it would be interesting how many of his rushing touchdowns were tush pushes.
I have, that is something that I'm trying to find a stat on, is like, if we remove tush push from, Bryson.
There's a stat on that. I saw that the other day, and it's not updated. I don't think they ran the tush push that much, or they definitely didn't run for a touchdown the other day. But I think it was like, if you take away Jalen's touchdowns on the tush push and just look at yards per carry on Dak's rushing touchdowns to Jalen's that aren't the tush push, their yards per carry is almost identical. So
that's funny.
I saw somebody come out with that stat. I'm like, okay, that's very interesting.
Well, Lawnwear is saying 12, and I think that's what he had. That's 12 rushing touchdowns.
Well, no, because he had the rushing touchdown versus the Bills, which was
it's probably like 8. I would say there's eight tush push touchdowns.
That's fair.
Easily.
That's fair.
But we can figure that out easily. I'm just not going to put too much time into it.
Yeah.
But look, this week I might just be itching to know. So
fuck the tush push. How about that?
Look,
I'm not going to fuck the tush push. That's ridiculous.
It's a legal play.
Roger Goodell hates it.
But what do you guys
think? He didn't like it. Yeah, he's going to ban it.
Yeah.
It'll be banned this offseason.
That's so dumb, though.
I know.
That's
what I mean. We're in the consensus of,
if you want to
you got to beat it.
Beat it if you want.
I agree with y'all 100%. Like and that's easy for us to say. We don't play football at the highest level, but still, it is, it's become almost the most automatic play in sports. But it can be a little hypocritical from people like, oh, I love the physical aspect of the game. Well, there's no more physical play than Jalen Hurts running behind a future Hall of Famer Jason Kelsey. I'm with y'all. Like, it's like, can you imagine just the momentum swing if somebody eventually stopped that one of these days, like a big playoff game, how much that would shift the tide? And plus, it's, how do you necessarily differentiate on the like what specifically, because they can find a different way to do the tush push that's legal, and then you have to ban that. You get into really kind of slippery slope.
You're in a gray area. You're in a very gray area where it's like, well, this play works so well that you're bad. Anyways, we could talk an hour about that.
And the first,
look at us defending the Eagles.
I know.
They're allowed to do it. It's totally legal.
I just hate when someone has something that is within, arguably a reasonable way to say that, oh, they're playing within the rules, because I know there's arguments that saying, oh, well, this breaks rules. Well, whatever. I don't want to play that game. I hate making a rule to make that illegal, unless it's something like that is like and at this point, I don't think any national sports league has overlooked a concept or overlooked something. Like, I think they've kind of covered mostly by this point in history, they've covered all bases where someone was able to like find something in the rules and what's the word? Not extort, but like
bend
it or basically find a hole. And it's like, okay, we need to plug that hole because that's a pretty obvious miss that we did when we wrote the rules. I don't.
This isn't that case.
I don't think that's this case.
This is they figured it out. They have a specimen of a quarterback, a very powerful offensive line, and they figured out a play that works 98% of the time.
But this is what I liked, and it might have been in this game, this last game against the 49ers or a previous game. But regardless, it was the 49ers versus the Eagles, and what they did is like, fine, you get it, but we're gonna fucking hit you, Hurts. And I like that. Like, okay, go ahead and take the yard, but you're gonna get
smacked.
We're gonna smack you.
Yeah.
And that's how you kind of counter that. Is like, fine. We know we'll concede the yard.
Dive into that pile and just grab balls. Just dive into that pile and grab balls. Just find a nut sack and grab it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you have to do. Dive in there. They'll shriek.
I won't run as much if they do that.
Chat's saying, William in the chat saying, I like it. I think it's what got his knee injured in the first place. So come on, Jalen, keep running it.
Hey, man.
So,
I mean, we talked about that, like that.
Injuries, but
not cool for injuries at all. But like, you're gonna run something like that.
You ruck it up with your quarterback. This is the thing with running quarterbacks. Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, anyone, Michael Vick, any quarterback.
Inevitable.
They're going to get hurt eventually. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. Well, do you even think Dak had a very tender year, or tender 2 years, I should say, after that ankle injury?
He's just getting back to being like
Yeah.
scrambling and actually running. Like
So
first year after, it was just, there was no dice of him running.
But okay, let's break it down. Where do we want to go with the Eagles versus Cowboys?
I got one. And this
do
is
it.
kind of one thing that it's fun to talk about because we can get discussion from each of us. I just want to go around the room, Bryson included. I know he's not in the room. He's in the digital room. I want to just go around and each of us have one key to victory for the Cowboys. What is the main thing that the Cowboys have to do? Or if they don't do, they lose. Like it can be anything like that. That'll jump off some discussion. Bryson, I don't know if you have something. We kind of all talked about it earlier. I don't know if you can just jump something out or if you want us to go first.
Do you want the bandwagon boys to be one? So if we go 3 keys to a victory, we're going to go 4 keys.
No,
to a
because I
victory.
like both of your guys's.
Okay,
So I think we do 4 keys to the
All right,
victory.
I like that too.
Yeah, so well, the top of my head, like something I was thinking about, and we were discussing earlier and before the show and during the show, like with again, we're bringing Brock Purdy back in the discussion, but
That's
again,
fine.
that's who Philadelphia
Yep.
played. But you know, these quick passes and Debo's getting yards after the catch. I think if Dallas, I could see them running a lot of screen plays with CeeDee Lamb, maybe with some Tony Pollard and Brandon Cooks to get yards after the catch. Philadelphia is not a good tackling team, especially on the back end. So if that's something you could expose and get yards after the catch, I think that's going to be key for them. So you will see some shots, but I could see a lot of screen plays. Like maybe playing it safe, sure, it may look that way. But if they're able to get blockers out in front, the offensive lines, I think according to Pro Football Focus, is like top 5 in the league. So, you know, get those big athletes out there on the edge against an Eagles team that, you know, they've struggled to tackle. They're bottom 10 in the NFL in pass defense. So kind of expose that, I think, will be the key to victory for Dallas, especially on the offensive end.
Their defensive backs aren't good. But outside
No,
of
they're
Slay
not.
Jr., their defensive backs are not good. They got exposed by San Fran just giving those little passes to Deebo Samuel, and he just was off to the races. Yeah, you just got to beat one guy, and you have a chance.
Hey.
And I don't know if the Cowboys really tried to take advantage of that as much as they should have last game.
I'm not too worried about CeeDee Lamb lining up against any of their DBs.
No, not
I thi-
even Slay.
You know, he's going to get his 10 to 14 targets. We hope that he catches 80+% of those. But the other thing is fine. Let's say CD has one of his 50-yard, 1 touchdown games, right? We've seen Cooks be able to step up. We've even seen Tolbert and Gallup, not necessarily in the same form that Cooks did, but just looking at Cooks himself, he can come in and have a big game if you're going to leave him open. So he's a really good number 2. And if that happens to be the case, Dak is not necessarily afraid to say, fine, okay, take my boy out. He's still going to get yards, impactful yards, and TD for CD more than likely. But then Cooks will be open. And the emergence of our young, handsome tight end, the new leader of the clone zone himself, Fergalicious.
Yeah, some attitude, man.
Oh, I was gonna say the best. One of my favorite parts was Ferguson. One of my favorite parts of last week's game was Ferguson and how he would get a play and then he'd get right in their face.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like,
Right in their faces.
I want that attitude going into Eagles.
You know, you see him, and I never thought he was a 6'4", 250-pound military machine, but that's what he is.
Hurdle.
He is.
He's like a universal soldier.
Yeah, he's a big boy, especially when you see him that point that he did.
Oh, he's like over it.
And
The
he's
guy,
like-
the guy's the I forget what DB it is. His head's in his armpit 'cause
yeah.
that's how small he is
He's-
compared to him.
So he's
beefy.
He can run with the best of them, and that's something that I entirely did not think of when I was like,
Not sold on him yet.
Not sold on him yet. But now, you know what? I'm completely sold, and I hope.
So we're thinking these short passes. Bryson's thinking these short passes, screen type game, slant type game. Get these short, quick slants. It looks like you're playing the short game, but you're hoping to break a pass.
Yep.
So that's a great key to victory because we just watched San Fran do it.
Does Pollard get more involved in
Hell
some
yeah.
of those?
Fucking
Well,
right.
yeah, I
he
was
does.
about to say, like, they've really struggled to get the run game going, and if they can in this game, and even if it is the short game, like that's kind of a key to victory as well. Is like your defense is maybe struggling a little bit. Obviously, they built confidence after the end of the Seattle game. We talked about that, but if you're able to keep Jalen Hurts, keep that Eagles offense off the field, these long burnout drives down the field and wearing their defense down, that could be really a big asset in your favor. It may not be as high scoring a game as we think if that is the case, but kind of playing ball control a little bit in a different way, a little bit kind of like 2016, just obviously feeding the ball to Zeke back in those days. But in this case, just spread the ball around. Whoever's open, you take what the defense gives you and play in front of the chains. Make sure you're not in second, third, and longs, and that could be really, really huge for Dallas if they're able to win this game.
Get the ball off quickly. You know that that Eagles line's coming in hot. Just get rid of the ball.
Yep. Get it into the hands of the receivers and then just let them Brandon Cook.
So I'm gonna give a really vanilla answer, and it's pretty much if you do this in any football game.
Can you give us a tapioca?
I'll give you a tapioca. It's a crack if you got him.
Yeah, not vanilla. We don't.
Team? Is that what you're gonna say?
Pardon?
Score more points than the other team?
No. But that's a great one too. This is all okay. This is almost as basic as that.
Yep.
And the reason I'm picking this is because it had such a big impact in the last game they played. You have to win the turnover battle. You have to.
Right.
And the reason I bring this up is because there was 3 fumbles by the Eagles last time the Cowboys played them. Like gift-wrapped fumbles, and the Cowboys didn't get a single one.
If you one of them
would have been the last minute of the game in their red zone, you're pretty much putting the game on ice.
Yeah.
So when opportunities arise, a pick right off your hands or a ball falls right in front of you, you need to get that one turnover. There was no turnovers in the last game. That one turnover for either team cements a victory. So the turnover battle to me is the biggest part of this game, which a lot of things have to happen for us to get the turnover battle. But if we walk out with a turnover differential better than the Eagles, I would bet 98% we're winning. So that's, for me, is the biggest outcome of the game. Take the ball away.
And that's what great teams do, is they make you pay for your mistakes. That's what the Patriots did for 2 decades, and that's, Dallas has shown ability to do that as well. So that's I don't think that's basic at all. I think that's huge because there weren't any turnovers in that game. So that's a great point.
My point would be keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. I think if we look at the San Francisco game, whenever any kind of play started to arise or rise up or start to happen, it's when Jalen Hurts was scrambling and he starts to become a little bit more dangerous. He allows Devontae and AJ Brown to start making some moves, and he's able to toss it down the field. Maybe Dallas Cowboys gets up and open. But if we allow Jalen Hurts to start to move those legs and scramble, that's going to be very dangerous for the Cowboys. So keep him in the pocket, contain him in that pocket, let him try to throw it and be a quarterback. And I think that's going to be our key.
I like the way you put it in the DMs better than how you just said it.
Yeah, make him be a quarterback instead of running back.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like hearing that. Make him play quarterback, not running back.
And
I could have said it very quickly, and I apologize to everybody out there. I was trying to sound like a fucking stupid analyst.
Well, and the thing you didn't see,
we got to eat up time. Okay,
gotta eat up time.
The thing you didn't see them do against San Francisco, you didn't see the tush push. You didn't see any of these 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s. Those just didn't happen. So keep them back. Keep them in those down and distance. Keep them 3rd and 7. Keep them, even 3rd and long. Keep them out of that spot of just being able to pick up an easy 4 or 5. Make him throw a ball to pick up a first down.
Look, one thing Hurts is not afraid to do is throw the ball out of bounds. He does that quite often.
He's one of probably the best in the league.
We watched him do that on the first 2 drives for the Eagles against San Fran. I think he threw the ball out of bounds. I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4 times in the first 2 drives, and it's a good play. It's not a negative play, but if
it's smart.
It's a smart play. But you got to get to him. We got to get to him with our front 4. I saw Nick Bosa talking about how when they were bringing their 4, they weren't even necessarily trying to sack him. They were just trying to contain him.
Well,
don't let him outside this. Our 10-yard split that we have here.
Yeah.
Just don't let him get past anyone. Make him stay there. Make him look downfield and make him throw the ball.
Do you think San Francisco has better secondaries than the Cowboys?
Secondary, I'd say it's probably on par.
Especially since they lost Ufunga. That's a big loss.
I'd say it's probably.
Do you keep a spy on Jalen though? Do you keep a spy on him?
Marquez Bell could be a good spy.
I think you got to
contain him. Yeah.
You got to get in their heads. We did see that when the Eagles are facing adversity, they got frustrated, and some guys started to have a little bit of a conniption fit on the side of the field.
But they have a coach to stick up for them.
Headed
security.
Well, fucking Dom, whatever my name is.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
What the heck was that?
Why was he not fined and told to get back to his fucking post and make sure fans don't run onto the field?
I wish Greenlaw would have just got him with a good one.
Well,
do you know?
Yeah, I don't think he wants to mess with Greenlaw.
No, I would have loved to see just a clean one hit.
Yeah, I don't. If he has the title for his job title, head of security, it's not just that. It's something like assistant support to the general manager. I don't know what I don't know exactly.
We're not looking it up, but
I'm just saying. But it's a weird. It's almost like Is this your buddy that you're just giving a fucking job to? So
Which respect if that's the case. I do.
Hey, look, I understand. I understand the element of having someone out there to like, but like, what are you doing? Like
pulling people out of the game, pulling the other people out of the game.
This is a professional football sport. Anyways, I don't want to waste time on that guy because I have a point to make here, or I have my point to make.
Yeah, sorry,
here
AJ. Fuck Big Dom.
This kind of goes in that in kind of everything we've been saying, but it's capitalizing on those short yardage drives. So whether it be a turnover, whether it be a 3-and-out, and we get a nice punt return, points need to be scored when that opportunity arises. You can't go 3-and-out after the defense makes a nice stop and then the special teams, or if it's a takeaway, we don't need the special teams. But in the case that the punt is made, we've had some really good returns up to the 50-yarder into enemy territory, and those need to turn into points. So the boys just need to score. We saw how close the game came the last time we played the Eagles. And
every point counts.
Every single point counts. Kicking a field goal. I know this is kind of going back to the old Belichick way where it's like, hey, just put points on the game, points on the board, and eventually at the end of the game, you've got 16 extra points.
Well,
that you shouldn't
that
have
almost
had.
bit us in the ass against the Seahawks. There was multiple times the Cowboys could have kicked for 3. We went for it and we didn't convert.
Yeah,
we walked away with 0. I would say at least twice. So when at the end of the game, when we were only up by 6, even if one of those times you just took the points when you could have, well, now you're up 2 scores. So that's a great point. Take points when points are on the board. I'm also that guy that's sitting there. You fucking pussies, go for it. Don't you dare kick. Like, I'm that guy. Like, I love it. I'm that guy. I'm always like, go for it, go for it. But I also respect a coach that can be like, no, I'm going to take the 3 points because I expect us to be down here again.
Let's say the first 60% of the game is when it's like, just take the points.
Yeah.
Then reanalyze where we are and now start pushing. Now, if you happen to be in that awkward zone where it's like, this kick could be a punt and we're 3rd or 4th and 3, okay,
go for it.
You know, take your shirt off and let's fucking see what you got. But
so I got a question to go off of that for you, Alex. At what point?
Just for Alex?
Well, for anyone.
Okay.
But it was Alex's point, so I just got a question for him. So, like, at what point on 4th down are you now saying, well, the gamble's worth it? Like 4th and inches, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. In those situations, on a 4th and inches, say on the 25, are you still taking 3, or are you going to try to pick up 3 inches?
Oh man,
it's tricky, right?
A lot of it comes down to momentum. If you're within inches, I mean, you got to trust
you're an NFL football team. You have to pick up inches.
You got to trust you can get that. If we're talking 4th and 3, I still feel comfortable.
I think it's an automatic kick.
You think it's an automatic kick?
4th and 3, you got it. Yeah. In the first half,
I'm going against what I'm
in the
just
first.
said.
I'm saying in the first. I'm saying in the first half, like
NFL.
4th and 3. That's kind of. I'm thinking 4th and 1 is where anything more than 4th and 1 is where I start going.
Yeah.
Well, your odds drop down quite a bit.
The factors are this: distance to that 4th down, where the ball is placed, and the momentum on that drive that you've been having.
Right.
Bryson, what do you think?
No, it's all about the flow of the game. And obviously, you guys mentioned this situation. Like, if it's, I don't think any of us anticipate like a low scoring game, but if it is, like, you kind of got to take the points where you can get them. Kind of like my Steelers, the Patriots, just take the points where you can get them, because they're few and far between games like that. But two higher powered offenses like Dallas and Philadelphia, I think, AJ, you bring up a phenomenal point that, and I've always believed this, like, if you're in the kind of that in between where it's kick a 57, 58-yard field goal or get 3 yards, I think you got a much better chance given how successful the offense has been at getting the 3 yards. And so it's all about the flow of the game. Let me ask y'all, not to get off topic, but what do you think has been sort of the key to as great as this offense has been? They just can't seem to kind of punch it in the red zone consistently. Do you think it's a run game problem? Like, anybody can take that, but what do you think's the dilemma there?
I don't think it's off. I don't think it's off the mark. I think that's definitely a thing that we want to hear and we want to talk about right now, because I think that's going to be the keys to this late season and playoff success is punching it through that red zone.
It's weird. It's something that I don't know any of us without seeing crazy analytics about it that we really understand, because we're moving the ball super easy between the 20s. But even on that first drive against the Seahawks, they moved the ball from the 25 to the 3 or 4, whatever the fuck it was, easily. And then it's like we get into the red zone and we start giving up sacks. And I really don't know exactly what it is yet.
Rico Dowdle is what it is.
Rico Dowdle, yeah. What do you mean by that?
We should be playing Rico Dowdle more in the red zone.
He's been good on those screen passes.
Well, I do. Maybe that's an issue. We get a little too cute with some calls. I don't. We kind of got better in the stretch on it, but the Seattle game, there was times where it was like, okay, we're cooking right now, and then we get into the red zone and just the drive just stalls, right? And teams that make the Super Bowl are teams that are killers in the red zone. So I myself, I don't really know what the answer is. I just hope they figure it out in the next 4 games.
I think you made a good point. It's the play calling and the cuteness when you get into that zone. Although personally, I do think that I'm seeing a little bit more of an exciting offense and more movement and more making the defense have a little bit more guessing out there. Like in terms of like, oh, what are they going to do? And then Dak actually being able to read the defense a little bit better. So I would just like to see more. Damn, I don't even know what to say. Like,
Just say it.
I know the rushing's a concern, but in terms of like, oh, well, maybe maybe TP is not the guy to push in on those close yardages, but he's got skills to catch the ball too. So like,
I would like to see Michael Gallup. I'd like to see Michael Gallup get some chances in the red zone. You just don't see it one-on-one with Michael Gallup. That used to be the go-ahead. That used to be like Michael Gallup's one-on-one in the end zone. Just throw it fucking 10 feet high and he's going to go up and get it, which we haven't seen. But it has been a little concerning. I feel like it's gotten a bit better since we've been cooking, like since pretty much the San Fran game.
It at least just not become a issue.
Not as bad as it was like the first 4 or 5 games. It's still a problem.
Sure.
But it's like you're on the 25 and you're like, just score on the 25.
Yeah, please don't go to the red zone.
And there has been a lot of touchdowns. I'll say this, there has been a lot of touchdowns that have actually come between the 20 and the 25, which are just outside of the red zone.
William in the chat says, I like to see Hunter and Rico run a couple in on the goal line.
Some Lepke action, not a bad call.
Cody Hoover says, red zone play calling has slowly gotten better. Unwilling to call multiple runs in a row has kept us from knowing if the run game is the issue or not.
I agree with that too. They'll do the one, it'll get stuffed, and they'll abandon it.
Just on that reminded me. I think it really it's the play calling now. I am going to 100% admit that I am a coach's suggestion Madden.
It's the best way to go. It's the best way in Madden to go. On offense for me. Defense, I like to call my own defense, but on offense in Madden, I just go coach selection because I end up always if I go myself, I just pick the same 5 plays over and over.
You pick shotgun.
Shotgun, tripped right. That's all I pick.
Verticals, yeah.
4 verticals.
The point being here, is it just the wrong order of flow of plays that they may be calling in the end zone? And often we're like, man, you should have done that first, and then you could have done is that maybe the issue where it's
incomplete pass, draw play,
and then
maybe just switch those.
Yes,
maybe go a draw play first, or
because if you're
run it first.
If you're setting up to kind of always leading to like, well, potentially we might go on 4th down if A, B, and C happen. Okay, well then let's run the plays for that. So it's like get your yards first that we know is not going to be a 1st down, then try the play that stops the clock, and then try the play for the touchdown, and then you reassess: are we kicking or are we going to go for it?
Well, I'll ask you guys. Yes, do you think the red zone thing's a problem though?
It certainly.
14 weeks in, yeah.
But I right now I don't feel like it is a problem to me.
The amount
we've been putting up, the amount of points we've been putting up,
I don't know. It's hard.
Sure, it's like you get there sometimes you're like, fuck, they should have scored here. They shouldn't have had 3 points. But like, man, we put 41 up on Seattle. Like, the offense is one of the top ranked scoring offenses in the NFL. Sure, are they leaving some points on the board? Yeah. But without that same offense, you're not even getting a chance to kick a field goal, right? So I don't know. As long as they know they're going to be back in there and get it the second time, I still don't know if it's, to me, a pressing issue. Like, yeah, sure, their rate of touchdowns in the red zone isn't as great as we want it to be. But again, I think they have the ability to score from the 40, to score from the 30, to score from the 25, and sometimes they just stall out.
Just to wrap up, Sorry, go ahead,
No,
Bryson.
go ahead.
No, you
No,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna
No,
say
you're
that-
the
that-
guest. You're allowed to cut off the host. It's fine. You go for
Of course, I'll do it every time. But no, that's one area though where they missed Zeke because Zeke was really, really
yeah.
good. He was darn near automatic on the goal line. I would actually love to see New England if they just go ahead and throw this season of a tank, let Zeke go, and he signs back in Dallas as kind of like their
I would love
short
it.
yardage power back. That would be a heck of a reunion, and give him an opportunity to reunite with his buddy Dak. So, but that was an area where Zeke was really, really valuable to them.
22
Even as
touchdowns
he-
in 2 years.
Yeah. Even as he lost some of his explosiveness, he was very valuable there on the goal line or in short yardage situations.
some rapid fire comments before we move on to some more Eagles Cowboys. Jeremy Nello says refs are hurting us in the red zone. We got a couple TDs called back because of a flag. Alex 55-9 says nope, throw to CD or Ferg in the red zone, a must. Llama Gamer says I also feel like that if Dak and Ferguson get better and are better, our red zone offense will be better. So the chemistry between Dak and Fergie, which is starting to evolve, and then follows up with kind of like Romo and Witten. They had a great connection in the red zone. Rich P says red zone not a problem anymore. Gus says that's what I thought they brought Martavius Bryant in for the red zone. Yeah, we haven't seen or heard anything.
Yeah, but no
about
one
Bryant.
did anyone expect him?
I did.
I'm a guy that hadn't played since 2018. I just
I totally forgot about him until Gus just brought him up right now.
That was a weird sign.
It was a weird signing. I just never expected Bryant to even take a snap.
And then Lawnwear says, no, Mike is just stubborn, but he's learning. We saw last game, he's finally realizing the defense needs to be peppered before Pollard gets the ball. He'll choose the wrong hole every time.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
I like look. I know Tony Pollard has had his he's in terms of a lot of people's perspective comes from fantasy. So in terms of his fantasy production, people have been a little bit underwhelmed.
I mean, his last 3 games have been great in fantasy.
No, I know. Well, just league. If you look at the league, but yeah, my point being, like, I'm not disappointed with how Tony Pollard's been playing myself.
Either. Between him and Dowdle, they're doing what they need to do.
You know what I loved about the sounds of the sideline this past week on the Seattle game? Like, so
There he is again, boy. There he is again.
TP20 gets a couple of like good plays, and then he's sitting there. He's like, no, give Rico a shot. Give Rico a shot. It's like, there's no like, give me the ball every like.
'Cause that's how him and Zeke were.
No ego.
Yep.
He had one. Him and Zeke are best buddies. Tony Pollard was brought up by one of the best running backs to ever wear the star, man. And now he's the same way. He knows it takes more than one dominant runner on a team to cook. And I love to see Dowdle. I love to see TP20. And I love what TP20's doing because this year he's taking those hard. He's never had to do that. He's never had to, on first down at the start of the game, be the guy that's running head first into the defense over and over and over. And he's doing it, and he's been durable. And he's he's over 4 yards a carry. That's all I care about for my running back.
You said that you said that deep into the offseason, in the Sahara Desert of Cowboys content. You said that all you want Pollard to do is get above 4.
Well, AJ and I have always preached that. If you get 4 yards a carry, you run 3 times, you get a first down.
Yep.
Just keep doing that. Give me 4 yards a carry. I mean, 5 would be juicy, but
of course.
Just don't hold, Tyler Smith. Just don't hold.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, fuck T Smith. Come on, boy.
The other kind of matchup here that we had on the docket is Micah Parsons versus Hassan Reddick. Now, obviously, they're not going up against each other, but they are playing in similar positions. And we got Hassan Reddick, I believe, with 9 sacks on the season. Basically, the most dangerous player in terms of bringing Dak down in the backfield. Who do you feel is going to win this battle?
Let me just say this. I wish Micah Parsons was playing against Terrence Steele. I just wish we had Micah Parsons going up against Terrence Steele. I don't even know if Reddick he's scary. He's a great NFL player. He's amazing. But
he's not on the same tier.
But the last time playing against the Cowboys, going against Terrence Steele, that helped tremendously. Like there was times that he was just abusing Terrence Steele. And in Steele's defense, he's rebounded since that game. I just hope they give Steele a little bit of help. Don't put him out by himself and expect him to go out wide and get Reddick, because Reddick just absolutely abused him,
mauled him. You he's on the same side too as Martin.
Yeah,
you know, who?
Well, and that's what I mean. So like, if you have Martin beside you, obviously you have a little bit of space that you can kind of give up in the center, but you can't jump out like he was doing. Like he was jumping out so wide. And then Reddick was just doing one cut in and had 5 yards in between Steele and Martin. right? That's what I mean.
That's the toughest part to break pressure from as a quarterback is inside. Like if it's coming around the edge, you can roll it to your left, like depending on what where they're coming from. But here's the only thing, and I'm not big on like blaming officials. All the officials the reason we lost. But if Parsons was going against Terrence Steele, would Micah get the holding calls? That's the question.
He wouldn't need holding calls.
That's true. That's true. I'll say this: surely to goodness they bring Parsons around the left side, right? Because I saw what Lane Johnson did. That's one of the few bright spots for Philly. I thought Lane Johnson completely won his matchup against Nick Bosa. I thought he was phenomenal.
Yeah, because he's fucking jumping offside every fucking play.
I watched some highlights on him, man.
That's true. That's a good point.
He's false starting.
He is.
At least I would say, like very noticeably, when it's slowed down, he's moving. That right leg's jumping. I would have said at least like easily 4 times. Easily 4 times. It might have even been more, where the ball is still not moved and his right leg's kicked out already. Yeah. And I don't know how that's missed.
You got to play to the whistle, and he's obviously found a way
got a hack
to kind of hide that enough.
He's downloaded hacks.
And look, I will always appreciate that in players who find a way to play against the refs.
If you can find a loophole and use it to your advantage, use it all day, man.
All day.
Lawnware says, be careful what you say. He could be just as good as Collins was. Let's go, Steele. Keep fighting.
I love Steele. And don't get me wrong. Steele last year had a great year. He's coming off an injury. Steele last year was on a Pro Bowl route. Possibly even Steele was playing unreal in 2022 before his injury.
Now is the time for Steele to turn it on.
And he has. Since that Eagles game, he hasn't had any of those moments when you're like, oh my God, that was hard to watch. So let's just hope he keeps doing that.
Llama Gamer says Lane Johnson is hacking mods. Ban him. Hacker.
Hacks. We need a mod. We need a mod in the game to call that. Well,
it can't be the refs. The refs
technically, I think what is there 7 or 8 or 9 refs on the field? They're all mods, and
they're all fucking mods.
The one thing I'll say between the Reddick and the Micah Parsons debate, rarely do you see Terrence Steele and even a chip block on Reddick where Micah Parsons sometimes has 3 dudes blocking him.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So this goes over to D-Law. This goes over to Armstrong, Fowler Jr., Sam Williams, Osa, Gallimore. If Micah's getting 3 dudes on him, one of you guys has to make Jalen Hurts go down. You have to.
But the comfortable thing in that statement is we've seen that those boys can.
They can, yeah.
So it's not like a wishful thinking or something that we've been seeing and being like, oh, you're not doing it. Like, they will come to play, and I'm comfortable with those guys being able to capitalize on that if it happens.
Our front 4 can do damage. They just if Mike is getting double teamed or the times he's triple teamed, someone's got to step up.
Sounds like a
and
dream.
You got to bring Mike up the middle. He's lethal whenever they bring him up on a blitz. Like obviously they got Jason Kelsey there, but that's a potential thing they could expose if they want to contain Hurts.
It's funny that you say that because it goes against everything you think of. Undersized defensive end going up the middle to be the most efficient, but he is his step off of the line against the guards and centers. They just can't block him. It's something they've never seen. Like a lot of guards and centers, they don't deal with the quickness off of a D end, right? So there's a lot of times where Micah's sacks have came where he's lined up over a guard or he's lined up over a center, and it's just such a weird aspect of Micah's game where you've never really seen that in the NFL, where you'll take a 250-pound hybrid player and line him up over a guard for it to be an advantage. It's just it's pretty crazy.
He's a matchup nightmare.
Should we do some score and bolds?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Score and bold prediction.
Score, bolds, and then they're wearing color rush jerseys. So are we? What color you're wearing?
Well, let's talk jerseys right now, quick.
Okay, so are you?
I only have the one color rush jersey, so I'm rocking my T. Smith.
You could rock D-Law if you want.
What size is D-Law?
It'll fit you. It's an XL. It's a big X. It's a big XL.
I would love to rock the.
Okay, you rock D-Law.
I'm gonna rock the DL.
I am gonna go 88. Then.
Oh, and Alex has 2 color rushes, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go.
One's is a Diggs though, isn't it?
Yeah, I gotta go Dono Dub because he needs a little support.
Needs that love.
He needs some love.
We're going full color rush.
He's been having, and I'll be the first to admit it's been an unimpressive season for Dono Dub for what we expected out of him.
It takes one play for that to change.
It takes that one color rush bandwagon boy jersey wearing.
You got to embody his spirit and just will him to make that play, my friend.
He'll feel it. He'll feel it.
Ooh, I get to rock the D-Law?
Oh, yeah. Right up there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so who wants to take the first bold prediction? We could
guess first.
Yeah, guess first. As long as Bryson's up for it, unless you want to hear us bumble our way through ours.
So
No, listen, it's y'all show. Y'all go first.
so
Okay.
So
all right.
We'll go through scores and then we'll do bolds after.
Scoresies
Reverse.
first.
We'll go scores, then we reverse order for bold.
Okay. So who's starting?
Let's go. I'll go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
42-21 Cowboys.
Wow.
Jesus.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Jesus?
6
There
touchdowns.
ain't no Jesus when Dak Prescott
Merry
is at
Christmas, that's
AT&T
a
wearing
crazy-
So
colors.
you're saying no field goals. You're just going straight up 6 touchdowns versus your 3 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Juicy. Dumb,
Juicy
but
J.
juicy.
Hey, dumb and juicy, baby. That's what I like, baby.
Since I'm BW2, I'll go next, and I'm going 35-28.
Ooh, I like that.
So
score.
again, you guys are going no field goals, which I don't hate.
I don't hate, but I just feel like
I feel like we're
feel like
coming
that.
to the gun show today.
5 to 4. So if you were putting it into hockey terms,
Yeah,
Ad's
5-4.
winning 6-3. You're winning 5-4.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta throw a little bit. I gotta give our guy automatic Aubrey a couple points here.
Automatic Aubrey.
I gotta give Aubrey a few points. Last time it was what 28-23.
28-23. Yep.
28-23. Fuck, which that's actually a low scoring game for what you expect from these teams.
The over under on this game is 51.5.
Whew, which makes sense for the last game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, jeepers. Cowboys offense is going to put it together, and their defense is also going to bring the weight this time. I like Ad's 3 touchdowns from the Eagles, but I'm going to add a field goal. Eagles are going to have 24 points. Cowboys are going to, I'm just going to piggyback off both your guys' scores.
35-24.
38-24.
Okay.
I'm just giving a field goal. I'm taking
Fair.
both your scores, mixing it a bit, and then giving a field goal for
Yeah.
each team.
That's fair. I do like adding the kicks. I didn't think of it. It's a smart play.
Just somewhere, there's a good
I'm-
chance.
But you know, we lock it and we don't hope for much.
I like your score because 35-28 is probably what's going to be. It's going to be very close to that score, I feel, and it's
Could be
going to say
38-24.
Cowboys just squeak out a win.
Yeah.
Squeak out a
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
Cowboys barely beat the Eagles. That's
Bryson, what do
it's
you
gonna
got? Before you give yours, I got to get one of these. Crack them if you got them. Did we lose
You
them?
got it. There you go. I got 34-28, and I'll hold off my bold prediction because that 34-28 Cowboys, obviously. I'm going to hold off
you.
my bold prediction because it plays into that. But I'll
Okay,
save it.
okay.
Well, what we do though is we do the reverse go around. So now actually you're
Okay.
leading out the
Well,
boldies.
I can give a couple chat scores
No,
real quick.
yeah, okay, give like
Okay,
3.
so Gus says 23-20 Cowboys.
I like that.
Llama Gamer
together,
says 31-28 Brandon Aubrey game winner.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Which we haven't seen yet.
We
For
haven't
how
seen-
good Aubrey's been,
Yeah.
hasn't been sent out there to win a game.
Lawnwear says 61-7 Cowboys with an LOL.
Fuck, that'd be dope.
And then if you scroll up through, there's a lot of other score predictions throughout the entire
well,
conversation.
anyone that's putting their score predictions in, make sure you put them in game day because if you get the score prediction, we will send you some Can Fan swag.
And boom,
right.
we got a super chat by Arnie Diaz, a first-time
Sup,
listener,
sup.
first-time super
Appreciate
chatter.
it.
Says DeMarcus Lawrence had some incredible stops on 4th down last game.
He did.
$5 super chat.
Appreciate
Arnie,
it, man.
Thank you for showing up and thank you for that super chat. Make sure you tune in on Sunday. When
And
we
I
are
will
streaming the
be
game.
rocking that D-Law jersey,
Fuck
my
yeah.
friend.
Yeah, dog.
Okay,
yeah.
Bryson, lead out. You're leading out because you went last on the score predictions. What is your bold prediction for the game? And it better be bold, my friend.
It's bold. I'm going 400 yards passing for Rain Dakota Prescott. 3 through the
Yes.
air, 1 on the ground on a quarterback sneak Philly, brotherly shove style, and Dak leads them to it's going to be like the Seattle game a little bit, leads them to a touchdown to put them up 6, and put them up 6, and then Micah Parsons get the sack on Jalen Hurts to end the game, strip sack.
Oh, I love it. I like that.
Epic ending.
So 400 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, 1 rushed, and then
Yes,
to
sir.
lead the game, and then Micah to come out with the game-winning tackle to win the game.
I mean,
You
look,
heard it here
Love
first.
that.
the Dakota Rain stats themselves, I felt was a nice bold prediction, but tacking on the Micah sack to
The
end
cherry,
the game,
I like
that's
the
a cherry on top.
That's a cherry on top
Hey.
right there. So then,
Said
Bryce,
bold.
that's bold. Hey, man, and I appreciate that. We don't want someone coming up and being like, CD Lamb, 115 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't-
we want bold,
We're
man.
swinging for the fences.
Yeah, you got to
That's
swing
right.
for the fences because if you hit it, it makes you feel like the champ. Okay, so Bryson went Dak Prescott. I like that. Bryson went Dak Prescott. I'm going to stick with my guy, CD Lamb, because I kind of just mentioned him a little bit. CD's going off. I'm going 15 catches plus, so at least 15 catches.
Dang.
He's breaking his record for most receiving yards. He's going to have 205 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, man. That's like prime Jason Witten numbers.
That's my guy right there. CD's doing it. 15 plus catches, 205 plus yards, and 2+ touchdowns. Let's go.
I like what you guys are putting out there.
That goes right in with Bryson's Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah.
He needs CD to show up for sure.
I like that Bryson and I could both hit our boldies on that.
That's what we do.
And you know what? This one kind of can all of these can happen because I'm going to add another layer here. I believe that
we're just a giant onion.
I believe that we're going to see Brandon Cooks and Ferguson each get, I want to say 85 yards, but that's not bold.
That's
enough.
not bold.
We're going 100 yards each, and a touchdown each for the pair. Cooks.
So you're saying I should play
Ferguson
on fantasy?
I think that Cooks is going to find room on the field. I think I'm going a little bold, but this is what we do here. We do bold predictions.
Cooks has been a low-key, very good start in fantasy football the last 5 weeks.
He's been on my he's been on my bench every single week.
He's been 15 points almost every time.
So I'm keeping him on the bench.
Yeah, you have to.
Even though this week it is for first place and I could win a lot of money.
I thought that was last week.
That's three picks right there. So they all kind of line. So Dak's touchdowns go to Cooks, Ferguson, Lamb, and Lamb goes crazy. So we may need Adam to take the defensive side. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, you need to, because if you go defense, I mean, you could go offense, but if you went defense or special teams, all four of us could hit our boldies.
Well, I am going defense.
Okay.
And this is what my bold prediction is going to be. Deron Bland, 2 interceptions, and one of them will be for a pick 6.
Woo!
He's having a bounce back game, and I could say he's going to shut down. He's going to shut down the.
Not bold enough.
Not bold enough.
Oh, I thought they were saying if you just said him shutting someone down.
No. I'm just saying, and then add on that he's going to have X amount of. So
2 wins, 1 pick 6. That's
2 wins, 1 pick 6.
That's saucy.
He's going to have a saucy.
I've heard bolder stuff. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You have heard bolder.
I'm kidding because the reason that's so bold is that resets the record. That resets the record. If he scores another pick 6, boom. Now it's 6 pick 6s
at this point.
Yeah, I like that. That is bold.
Okay, so some chat.
It's bound to happen, I believe.
some chat bold predictions. My bold from Llama Gamer. My bold is that Trayvon Diggs is going to come out of nowhere and get a pick 6.
RKO Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Lawnwear says Turpin will have a surprising 76 yards with 1 return.
Okay.
Bot G Eric, our boy Boots on the Ground, says, and go ahead, hit it. We haven't hit it all day.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Boots on the ground.
My boldie is Micah shows up big, 3 sacks game for him. Also, Goddard comes out off an injury, shows Russ, so Curse gets a pick 6.
Oh.
Ooh. Micah with
Curse had a little bit of a down year, so that'd be really good for him.
Yeah, so Curse with the pick 6 and Micah with 3 sacks game.
I think Curse with the pick 6 might be the boldest take of for
100%.
a while. I like that.
He had a pick against Philly last year, didn't he? I think he did.
He did.
And guess what? He's getting a pick 6 this time.
I don't know if he's fat. If he gets a pick 6, it has to be on like the 5-yard line because I don't think he has the wheels to go much
It's once
further.
they punch them in deep. And Sirianni will not punt it, so he's going to go for it on 4th.
A bold prediction: Nick Sirianni won't cry on the sideline.
Hey, that's bold.
That's
really
bold.
Alex 55-9 says score prediction 37-28 Cowboys. Bold prediction Mr. Bland, not so Bland. Pick 6, Bland's redemption game. So very close into what I was.
Everyone wants to see it. Everyone loves it. They need me for the 3rd time of the year screaming record, record.
Bot G Eric says Cowboys 45-17.
Oh wow,
that's his score prediction. Bot G's in the house. Blah, blah. Gus also says Jalen Hurts 2 interceptions and a fumble. That's his bold prediction.
Ooh, wow. I like.
Hey, that's not a bold prediction. That's gonna happen, kid.
I like that.
That's gonna happen.
Okay, give us one last one.
Daryl Painter says Donovan Wilson bounces back with some splashes.
Okay.
Like peeing and splashing on himself.
And Alex 5599 says we want the shirt off. So I don't know if that's to
Oh
you.
Yeah, shirt's coming off.
Oh yeah.
If they win, you know shirt's off. Shirt's off.
If they lose, the shirt's coming off.
Shirt's coming off either way.
Yeah,
shirt's coming off either way.
Tarps off, baby. That's how we say it.
I'll show nipple. Free the nipple.
Free the nipple.
So what we need to do now is get to the bandwagon boy odds and bets.
Okay,
and
so
now,
Bryson, what we do every week is the bandwagon boys. I gave the bandwagon boys some fictional money at the start of the year, and they made a side bet that whoever had the most fictional CanFan buckaroos with their fake money, the loser had to buy the other one a bottle of premium alcohol. So I'm gonna give
which we will both devour.
Which they both will drink it. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win, baby.
So it's a win-win. So what I do is I usually get the odds up. These guys make their bets. They tell me their wager, and I let them know how much fictional money they would win or lose.
I'll bring everyone up to speed here because it actually has been since week 9 that we've done this because we've been away watching games.
Interesting.
And then I was away without leave.
How come you're not going to put that one up on the screen?
Well, because it's just not set up for this.
Wait,
yeah, you dummy.
I have the wrong stat. I have the wrong things.
Jay.
What we have here is Adam actually had a nice comeback. He was down to 500 CanFan bucks roughly, and he's pushed his way back up. He's now got 2,025 CanFan bucks. However, still behind ya boy with 2,665 CanFan bucks. And I've been playing that slow roll.
What did you guys start off with? 1,000?
1,000. Yeah, 1,000. So now we're rolling into week 14 with the spread against the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly's got a plus 3.5 spread.
So Cowboys are favorited right now.
Cowboys are favorited. Money line, Philly's up plus 152. We don't actually ever really do money line.
Money line, the only way you'll ever do money line, because the Cowboys have been favorited for the last however many weeks. Money line doesn't make sense because you're not gonna win as much as if you just bet the spread.
It doesn't make sense, especially also with the spread, because the spread's nice and close. So you might as well go for that. I think over money line, the return's a little better if I'm correct.
But yeah. Okay.
And over under is 51.1. So all that being said, Bryson, do you have any? I don't know if you're a betting man.
Is it even legal for him to bet in the States?
I can't bet. Yeah, I can't. But actually, it's funny you said that. I actually have a segment on my show called "If I Were a Betting Man."
If you were a betting man,
kind of works in conjunction.
Okay, so
from that,
perfect. I like that.
Do you have any bets for this game that you would go into?
Yeah,
this is gonna help us make our decision.
Give your pitch to the bandwagon boys. They're always looking for some advice because we bumble our way through this. Sell them on what you would bet on.
And it could also go off book. This is what we bring up here, but if you have like some sort of parlay in mind or something, I mean, spit that to the people because everyone's always listening.
I don't have a parlay in mind, but listen, I'm here to win people money. I'm here to win y'all some money, so I'm trying to help y'all out. I think take the over on this one, 51.5. Listen, both Dallas and Philly have been explosive offenses. Listen, both defenses had a rough game last week. Philly giving up 42 and Dallas giving up 35. I think it was to Seattle. So tough game defensively for those teams. And obviously Dallas has got the rest advantage. Philly doesn't. Certainly, I think Dallas will cover their side of the thing or their side of the spread, and Philadelphia will certainly make it interesting in that regard. I have serious questions about Philly's secondary. Again, I mentioned bottom 10 in the NFL in terms of against the pass. Dak Prescott will do his thing. CeeDee Lamb will do his thing. But I think you'll still see some explosive plays through the air for Philadelphia. And so I would probably take Dallas minus 3.5, but that's not as much of a sure thing as some might think. If it were Dallas minus 3, I would like that a lot better.
The 3.5 is the scary part. The 3.5 is the scary part.
It is. But I think the over under, I would absolutely take the over, not think twice about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll go.
Okay, go.
I'm ready.
Okay, I was ready too.
Do you want to go?
No.
Okay, I'll go. Okay,
I'll
go.
Paper, rock, scissors on who's going to go first?
Yeah,
or what?
real quick.
Okay.
One time.
Are you guys allowed to make the same bets?
Okay, I
Yes.
beat him.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Dallas on the over for $1,000.
Oh!
Jesus, Adam.
1,000 CanFan bucks, baby. Because
What's that pay, Ant?
The over scares me, man. So it pays out 909.
Okay,
Return. That's your net.
that's fine.
Sorry, not net. That's your take home. 909.
Now my only nervous is that if if he goes conservative, and he
What was your score? What was that score prediction?
yeah,
Oh, it's over.
it's over.
What was it?
42 to 21.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think
So,
we
yeah,
all
okay, so
caught over.
I just always like to see that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I know.
At least
Sometimes we do that.
At least you're going with your score prediction.
I have to do over as well, but Adam went real big.
Well, if that's the thing. If you match them with the,
I'm just gonna match them.
You have to.
I was actually gonna parlay it, but I didn't think we can't. We can't do that
We
parlay
each had one
anymore, so-
parlay, which we're not allowed to do.
The three big ones that we pick, you can't parlay. You could parlay it with like a CeeDee Lamb 100-yard touchdown game or something like that.
See, Bryson, what I'm doing right now is I'm playing to win. So either me and Adam go up the same or we go down the
You
same.
have to. You
Yeah.
have to match them.
I
So
have
now
to
if
match
Ad wasn't a pussy, Ad would throw another $500 down on the spread because you're never going to beat Alex betting like a bitch.
But I can't do that though, can I?
Why not?
No,
yeah, you can make a
talk about swinging for the fences.
You can make a separate bet. You can bet another $500 on the.
But I thought you said we weren't allowed.
It's not a parlay. It's a separate bet.
Separate bet, $500 on the spread.
It's so good.
I'm gonna leave that.
Okay, so ads doing 500 on minus 3.5.
Okay.
It pays out
Okay.
$500.
Okay, well that would
It's not
bring us.
bad.
That
That's
would
not
bring
bad.
us to if we
Hey.
if everyone won there, that would bring you much closer, and we'd have ourselves a fucking game going on.
Because ad has to play smart here, because if it gets to week 18 and you have more money than him, you essentially win.
Bandwagon Bob says, "Ad, don't listen to ants." No, sorry. I'm not listening to ants because I did want to make. Exactly what you just said. I needed to do a double bet here.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought we were.
You can't parlay it. You can't parlay.
I don't want to. Yeah. So, but I did want to make a separate bet. So I'm very $500. Exactly what I wanted to do. I got what I wanted, and I've been in deep guys. I've been in darker times this season. Okay.
Weren't you down to like 200?
Yeah, something like that. I rose from the
Hey,
ashes
and anyone
before.
watching, if you have gambling problems, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You might talk to me, and I'm going to tell you, bet the spread.
So Bryson, what we do after, we usually one of the last segments we do here is we look through the CFFL, which is the Can Fan Fantasy League. We're oh man, look at that handsome guy in the 2 spot there. Cowboys Can Fan Anth rocking that 9-4 record. Actually, I'm battling for first place right now.
That's right. If we look at so this is leading into the final week. If anyone else is out there playing fantasy football, you're in the same boat as us. Week 14 is the last week of the regular season. A lot of storylines will come to a close, and some will continue. Both the the Bandwagon Boys and Can Fan Anth
we're right where we want to be.
We're right where we want to be.
Right where we want to
in
be.
that 5th spot. We do want another victory, but if I look down here, we got 5 and 8s. 5 and 8 is the lowest, and 9 and 4 is the highest. So obviously,
that's a respectable league right there.
It's a pretty basically what we're it's very competitive, and we're looking at 8 potential playoff teams. There will be 8 teams. Everyone is still in.
No one's out. No one's eliminated.
One is out.
No one's eliminated.
That's really awesome, because shout out to TGR, the Dallas Cowboys. He had a really rough start. First time that he was playing fantasy football down here at the bottom, and he actually drafted, what was it, like
3 defenses?
Yeah, like just had love the dude, had a terrible draft.
First ever fantasy football draft.
Yeah, he has fought back, and Barry Grant Jr. is right here as the Dak haters with a terrible fall. He's lost the last 5
Barry
games
Grant has lost 5 in a row.
Okay, so now there was 2 weeks where he didn't have where he said he couldn't log in. He got a new phone.
But what about the other 3 weeks?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it was longer than that. I don't know. I just know that he probably has given up on it.
Barry was he battled last year. He's looking in the depth. I like that no one's out though. No one's out.
No one's out. So we got a couple. I mean, I believe that Bandwagon Boys and Cowboys Can Fan are in the playoffs regardless of how things go.
9 and 4 boys. I'm definitely in.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Pencil it in.
I don't.
Anything can happen, right?
Actually, you know what? I think maybe the players have been set. But anyways, the lowest we can go is about 8th. If we lose, the biggest games coming up this week is just Bandwagon Boys versus Levi, and
well, can you scroll down again? I want to see some. Is there any 5 and 8 team that 2 5 and 8 teams that play each other? Because that would be the biggest matchup.
Yeah. Dakman in the chat says, bet Dak hater wishing he had Dak the last 5 weeks.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. So Dak hate. Oh, I play against Barry.
Oh, do you really? Oh, man, listen, kick his ass for me, okay? that would be fantastic. Let's just go out with 6-game losing streak and never let him hear the end of it until September.
To lose this on a 6, get out of the league, miss playoffs with a 6-game losing streak. Ooh, I feel like you might get kicked out of the league.
You might get relegated. I mean, now.
Yeah, you might have to.
Hey, but Bryson, we do. If a spot opens up next year, please, we'll make sure that you are first on the list to come in, because I think you'd be a really good part of this league.
And winner gets a jersey of their choice.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. I like that.
Unless it's Anth or us.
Unless it's Anth or us.
Which Bryson, last year, the very first CFFL, it was me versus the Bandwagon Boys for the championship.
And Bryson, it came down to the DeMar Hamlin game. So and we had Josh Allen, and we were
Burrows.
we had Burrows, and it was, I thought we had Josh Allen.
No.
Well, Burrow got a touchdown that game, I remember.
Well, we were like 1 point away. I
They,
think
they lost by 0.8 points, 0.8, and they had one of the starting quarterbacks of the game got canceled.
Oh.
So we lost.
And the game got
Champion!
canceled, not rescheduled, so that was it. And we played it as it lied. It was a bad taste in my mouth. But look, I'm excited for the playoffs. This is our second season. It's just going to get better and better. I know we kind of have been just rolling through this, not really knowing what we're doing, but we're loving the competitiveness. So
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate everyone who has been playing with us along. It's been a lot of fun. I cut down my leagues personally to just 2 because I couldn't handle
It's too many
anymore. I have our long-standing league that we've been in for 20x years.
Yep.
And then then this league. So I love it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited for the playoffs.
Well, you know what else has been a pleasure? It's been a pleasure having Bryson on the podcast today, or the show, whatever the hell you want to call it. Bryson, before we call ourselves out, let everyone know where they can find you. Again, appreciate having you on. You're always one of those guys that just vibes with us very well. You're quick with the words. You always have a take for everything. I know the Bandwagon Boys love having you on, and they love being on the 8 o'clock spot.
And I love his show.
That's what I mean.
High quality.
Where can people find you, Bryson?
Well, listen, first of all, before I even get into that, I absolutely love coming on y'all's show. Hopefully going to be on here on Sunday for pregame, so very excited about that, to be on with you boys. But listen, it's been fun. But no, I'm actually on the quest, and I started this at the start of the football season to get to 1,000 subscribers by the Super Bowl. So I think I'm at 590 now, so I'm getting pretty close. But so just find my show, Carving It Up Podcast. You can subscribe, like, share, and obviously on social media, I'm on Instagram at Carving Up Podcast, on Twitter at Carving It Up Pod. So yeah, I'm trying to grow the show as much as possible. Love comments and engagement. That's why I love doing my show live. I know that's why y'all love doing y'all's show live and really engaging with people tuning in. And listen, the fact of the matter is we're lucky that people are willing to take the time out of their days to tune in and watch us. So obviously showing the audience love is really key, and you guys do a fantastic job of that. But yeah, try to get to 1,000 by the Super Bowl. So if you haven't subscribed to Carving It Up, just go to Carving It Up
Chat,
Podcast.
get over there. Anyone
hit
in
the red
anyone
subscribe button.
Anyone that's still in chat, get over there right now. Give Bryson a subscribe.
Let's get him to 1K, baby.
Bandwagon Boys, another great show. It's Eagles week. We know we're gonna be fired up until Sunday. I'm going into work tomorrow, and if I see anyone wearing green, they're getting a punch in the face. Anyone wearing green, getting fucking You want to wear, what is it, the Kelly green? You want to wear light green around me? Yeah. You're getting a punch in the face.
I had a Seahawks guy last week at work that I was just fucking mean mugging, and I got an Eagles guy at work that after that fucking 49ers loss, I walked right in as he was running the staff meeting, and I fucking slammed the phone up and said, "You fucking loser." And I'm going to do it again Monday morning because Cowboys ain't going down. And that's the case. If you're out there and you know anybody who ain't a motherfucking Cowboys fan and they're an Eagles fan, you go tell them to go fuck themselves.
That's how we do, baby.
That's how we do, baby.
Eagles week. I love Hype Adam.